All right, Curtis, we're ready to start the podcast
What
today.
episode?
We're up to episode 44, I believe.
All right.
No, it's my intro.
Okay.
Welcome, Frodos of the Rift, to episode number 44 of the Broken by Concept podcast. Do you like the way that I use Frodos there, Curtis?
Frodo. So you're
Lord of the
referring
Rings.
to the journey.
Everyone's like a Frodo.
Yeah, that's the analogy I use.
You used
right?
it on the thing
in my video.
You know?
It's true. It's a great analogy.
The ranked journey. It's like, so
what does Gollum represent? If we're all Frodo, what does Gollum represent? You know, Gollum's like...
that's a good one.
He's like that...
Yeah.
Trying to stop you from reaching
he would be like Tilt, blaming teammates.
Right.
He'll be like the thing that's like trying to tempt you with the ring. Or maybe the ring's that.
No.
What's the
So...
ring?
I don't know, man. This can go pretty deep pretty
But
quick.
let's say if we think about the trilogy, right?
Like, innocent at the start. Like this
if you want to break it down, so you're like, that's like unranked, right? So
Yeah,
like,
you're chilling.
what was the first one called? Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah, Fellowship of the Ring.
So we start off in the Hobbit. That's like your normal
I think
games.
It's called Hobbiton or the Shire.
The Shire, right? It's like,
Well, that's the Shire's the region, and then I think the town's called Hobbiton. I think I'm not 100% sure though.
Okay, you're meant to be the expert here. I don't know
know.
anything about Lord of the Rings.
So
So that's like unranked,
yeah,
right?
you're leveling to 30.
Leveling to 30.
And you'll find
and then you
games.
go out, and then, you know, when they first go out,
No.
is that ranked?
The journey is ranked.
So the whole thing.
The whole thing is ranked. So it's like you can either stay in that little, you know,
The Shire.
The Shire.
That's not ranked.
That's not ranked.
Yeah.
And then but like accepting that journey. You know, he had to take on that.
That's right. That's right.
He accepted the journey, the challenge.
Yeah. Because he could have not. Who was it?
He didn't have to do it.
Is it Gandalf? Right.
Yeah, Gandalf wanted him to do it.
So Gandalf takes him on that journey, right?
Or
so
offers it to him, extends that. It's like you could have, you know, this amazing. But this is Frodo, yeah. But I believe it was interesting because maybe a better analogy would even be the Hobbit, Bilbo Baggins.
Why's that?
Because Frodo kind of got inspired by Bilbo, because Bilbo had no one, and Bilbo was like, remember if you think about the start of the Hobbit, he's like so comfortable.
You could think that people could be inspired by, you know, top solid like pro players and stuff like that.
That's true. But
if you were to do like a movie, right? So let's say the first movie, that's unranked to what? And then Twin Towers I'm thinking Twin Towers is like gold to D4, and then is it Return of the King is D4 to Challenger?
No, I'm honestly thinking I'm thinking the first one gets you to like gold 1. I was thinking
Not gold 4.
No, I'm thinking gold 1.
Okay, so I would say that gold 1.
Yeah, and then the second one is like going from, you know, gold 1 to like D4 type thing.
How about that? How about Return of the King is purely the
Challenger grind?
Yeah, it's like D1 to Challenger.
Or D1 to, or D2. I like saying D2 personally.
Okay.
Yeah, that can work.
So the second
journey,
so Twin Towers is,
because that's an intense film, dude. There's a lot happens in the second one.
In Twin Towers.
Yeah. The Two Towers, yeah. Is it Twin Towers or Two Towers? I think it's the Two Towers, isn't it?
Isn't it? I can't remember. I don't know. We're getting roasted in the
we're
comments.
getting obliterated right now.
I feel like it's Twin Towers. How cool is that? And then the way that I view Challenger is that it's like the end. It's like in that. Is it Sauron's castle thing with all the fire and all red and stuff like that?
Mount Doom?
Mount Doom.
Mount Doom. Yeah,
That's the Challenger, right?
So what does it represent though? What does the ring represent? You hold on to it's like the burden of the challenge in a way.
Yeah,
right?
like you have to just,
because it weighs on you. Actually,
it does.
Perfect analogy because through the films, right?
Yeah.
He has the ring and it starts off very light because the expectation's so low in a way. You're going from like the Shire to like the next like area. It's like so easy. But as you get higher and higher and you start to see what's like achievable and you're getting closer, you can see in the distance, or you know, like the burden starts to get heavier, right? Because you have all these expectations and you've gone so far. There's no turning back.
There's no turning back. That's the thing,
True,
isn't it?
No one quits, right?
No one
I mean, we
quits,
say this all the time between me and Nathan. No one quits League. That's a terrifying thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we've met a single person who's genuinely quit the game.
There's definitely been some people.
No, but we're talking about people who've really taken the rank experience serious.
To high elo, like ex-challenger.
No, I'm not even saying ex-challenger. I'm someone who's actually taken the game relatively serious.
Okay.
Whether they quit at like Diamond 4 or whatever. As long as they took it serious.
Yeah, we have some Ben who's, you know, he's D4 and stuff like that. Your brother plays still sometimes.
My brother still plays, yeah. But they don't quit.
No. They always come back.
They always come back at some point.
Wait, so did they make... So in the movies, going back to the analogy, is the no point of no return past the first movie... Twin Towers, or maybe it's like a certain part of Twin Towers.
I don't know. But like at some point, but I like the analogy of the ring because it's like the burden of knowing that you've traveled this way and you've got this challenge, but you really want to drop it in there. Like there's all this, like the benefits of dropping the ring in the volcano.
Is that rank 1?
I don't know, but maybe, dude, maybe Nathan, maybe this journey is not the same for everyone. Maybe going from the Shire to Mount Doom is even for some people going from, Iron to D4 in a way.
Potentially. So you're saying that people can really power through it and then...
I'm saying for some people the goal's different, right? You can't say the goal for everyone is rank 1 in a way.
Yeah. No, but again, if you were to think of the... Yeah, so this is the way that I view it. It's like, okay, so let's say you're pretty happy with like make it to Platinum 4, right? Yeah. Then like my view is that you're at the Twin Towers, right? And you got to like a place you liked and you like settled down there, had a family, But
I don't think it works like that because the way the ring is, it's like you don't take on that burden and then like not drop it anywhere. Like where does it end? That's why I think the end point always has to be Mount Doom.
So you think someone else is, so if...
You can't just like stop halfway. You can't just hold on.
No, you can. Because you just give the ring, because then you get rid of the burden, because you just don't play the game anymore, right? So okay. it's like you could like again, like a way that I view it, it's like you get to like a little town, how they had that big meeting. Where was that big meeting?
Rivendell.
Is that in the first one where they say that this is what we're going to do with all the dwarves and stuff?
Yeah.
So maybe someone there. This is a pretty neat place. I'm gonna just chill out here.
That's true. They can.
You see that? That's true. That's a good analogy, right?
They hand it off.
Yeah, and then they hand it off, and then
whatever you want to make of that. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I think it's an amazing analogy because we're all, at the start so innocent and
it's like you don't know what you're getting into.
You don't know what you're getting into.
The flame
and all the
mental barriers, the invisible narratives, It's crazy. Like, is there... What are some of the challenges that Frodo has to face in the first one?
I think
Does he go through the spider thing? Or
there's like spider caves, there's...
Trolls
and...
Literally.
He has to like befriend elves and... Yeah, he has to do everything. Goblins and orcs. He has to kill orcs. Everything, man. It's the exact same.
It's brutal, dude. He could have died so many times, right?
Yeah, I think the analogy, I can't remember specifically what I said.
What was the one that you did in your video?
But people can just fail.
Yeah.
Like you can just fail.
That's right, dude. How close, I think, so many times.
People fail. I see it all the time. People just fail.
Yeah.
And they fall off the face of the earth, they're just done.
Mm. So you're saying they either die or they settle down in a town.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the analogy that I use, I use it as a very... I didn't go that deep.
Dude, you should have gone deeper.
I didn't really talk about... I think I did talk about the ring, but I don't think I talked about what happened.
Got it.
If you failed.
Oh, okay.
Enough.
Got it. So you just said this is the journey.
Yeah, this is the journey. Yeah. And you have that burden. There's all these things that you got to overcome, But yeah, good analogy.
So we're climbing Mount Doom at the moment, okay? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I've been using a lot of mountain analogies, actually. I use even Mount Everest.
Really?
Recently, yeah.
Or
like base camp. It's like... Base camp, I believe base camp is the bottom of master. I didn't think you're on the mountain until you're at master. And the reason I use that analogy is because people don't know how to, quote unquote, you're not playing the game. I say it. You're not really playing the game until bottom of master. Because what you're doing below master is you're kind of playing... I would say an altered version of the game where everyone is capitalizing on everyone else's mistakes rather than everyone knowing exactly what to do all the time. Mm. So rather than going from you're having a difference in execution, you're going in a difference in strategy in a way. So for example, when you beat a jungler, a lot of the time, it's because you had a better strategy or you had a better game plan. And yes, I'm sure there's little areas where it's like skirmishing and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to a lot of like your way of viewing the game. How are you going to win the game of League of Legends versus that guy's way of winning a game of League of Legends? But below Master Tier, it's this guy's just playing to play, and he might outplay you. He might do some cool things, but he's not really thinking holistically and has the ability to.
It's more like living in the specific moment instead of thinking 36, 60 seconds. This is what
Well, the
happens
analogy I use, Nathan, to describe that is actually soccer.
Yeah.
So let's say you had 2 soccer games.
Yeah.
You had one guy. Let's say one of the 2 players off one of the teams. If they were to pass the ball to each other, just simple pass, like 20 meters away from each other, they could hit their target 99% of the time.
That's
They're
right.
pro players, right?
Yeah.
Whereas someone else, the lower tier bracket,
They'll miss it.
they're going to miss it. So that maybe this
And then
only
someone
hit
like
75.
intercepts and then like takes a run.
Or whatever it is. So if you can't do a simple pass,
Yeah.
even if you're only doing it at 75%
Yeah.
capacity,
Yeah.
there's way too much room for error.
That's right.
So all you're doing then is you're actually not the team that wins in those leagues. It's not even necessarily the best strategy because there's so much up to luck. There's so much up to just fate or just chance. But that doesn't really happen as much in high year. That's why I think Master Tier is you're really starting to play the game now. I know everyone knows how to play the game. Everyone knows how to CS. Everyone knows wave management, tempo, all this shit. But now you're like actually utilizing it in a way. My champion mastery versus your champ mastery. My way of viewing the game versus your way of viewing the game.
This is our team comp versus your team comp.
Yeah. What can I do in this game? Who can see more opportunities? That's why it's kind of like the bottom of the base camp in a way.
You know, a fun fact about Mount Everest. I don't know if this is actual facts, but I swear to God I saw this somewhere.
Right.
And it was on like a facts website or something.
Yeah.
Apparently, you have to come back down with a certain amount of pounds of rubbish. Because apparently there's so much rubbish up there that's estimated how much you would use on your climb to Mount Everest. So you have to come back with it's like that amount of pounds of rubbish back because that's on the average how thing.
I think I saw something somewhere where like during the COVID, the Sherpas spent the time when there was less tourists. They've cleared so much of the rubbish.
Oh really? Wait,
Yeah.
The Sherpas, they're the Mount Everest.
Yeah, they're the
people.
guides.
Whoa!
So they've used that opportunity to like clear the rubbish. And
Imagine
stuff.
that. Imagine you're sitting there like you got this picture of what Mount Everest is. You just come up there. It's just a trash yard. You're just walking up.
Yeah, it's shocking, man.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Humans just destroy everything, don't they, Curtis?
Would you do Mount Everest?
Once I become an athlete from the gym, Curtis, I think so.
I'm terrified, dude.
It's pretty scary. People die
I
on
don't
there,
think
right?
I would do it.
Do people die on there?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
I don't think I'd do it. It's a life. It's like a whole. You got to train for a few
You got
years.
to train for it, right?
Yeah, high altitude training. So what are we talking about today? I reckon we kick it off with the intensity thing, right?
Yeah. So we're talking about our Mount Doom climb, Curtis. How's our Mount Doom going?
So when was it? 2 weeks ago now.
Yeah, I think it was 2 episodes ago.
I spoke about. I think this all kicked off when I was saying I was really struggling with my intensity.
That's right.
And I said that look, I wasn't focused. I was kind of just drifting in SoloQ. Had very little hunger. So I said to you, I said, look, I got to make a deal with myself. I got to increase my intensity. And a way of kind of seeing my intensity where I was at, I recorded on a scale of 0 to 100 my intensity, and Nathan did the same over the past 2 weeks.
Fire up the spreadsheet, Curtis.
So I've actually got the spreadsheet here. And look, we're still early days. We're only
2 weeks into the experiment.
Yeah. So week 1, I didn't get to play too much. You played 5 blocks. I played 3 blocks in week 1.
How was my intensity, Curtis?
Your intensity is very good. You have very good intensity. On the first week, you had things like... So it's weird. You have 90, and then game 2 here, you had 0.
Yeah.
What does 0 mean,
That was a
Nathan?
specific... That was just... I remember I literally... I guess it was more like testing something out, but like...
Okay, before we go into this, what do we identify... What does 90... Let's actually really clarify the scale.
Okay.
Because it is a feel thing at the end of the day.
I have a lot of 100s, you might know, dude. I
don't know how you have 100.
Just perfect, dude.
Right.
Perfect gameplay. I know basically
You're doing
100 for me means that I have every possible bit of information in the game and then I'm executing perfectly on that. That's what I'm essentially.
Okay. And that, so how do you, so that's 100, if that's 100.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily your level of play, it's more about what you're able to do.
Well, I think those things are completely correlated.
They're correlated, but like,
Yeah.
it's not like you have it's not like, you know.
Yeah. I think there was a game there that I played pretty shit. And I remember writing down, like, I still had 90
'cause I've had
intensity.
that as well.
And I was like, I still
You can still
really
lose a
tried
game and
to
have
win
like
this game.
95% intensity, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, it was interesting. Actually, that game specifically where I think I played earlier, it was pretty bad.
Are
I had a
we
pretty
talking
bad
about
early
100
game.
or the 91?
I think it was a 91.
So block 1, you went with 90, then to a 0.
Yeah, that was an ridiculous invade. It made no sense.
A level 1 invade.
Level 1 invade.
So your team did one or they did one, the enemy?
No, we did one.
Right.
Just complete, like,
Oh, no.
you know how you like the invades where you follow your team and stuff like that?
And
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
a good
bad,
idea.
you
And,
compensate.
and it made no sense. I'm like, the fact that I made that decision mean I had 0 intensity.
game over.
And then we lost the game instantly, so I had 0. That's how I put 0 there, dude, you know? Maybe I had 1.
Because you might have come into it with like a portion of intensity.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you did that, you probably realized, holy shit,
Yeah.
I'm already not at 100% intensity.
Yeah.
So you're like, fuck it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, it was basically a feel. 90, what would you say 90 means? 90 is like you
There's maybe like a moment of the game where like you slipped up a little bit.
Yeah, that's the way I interpret it as well.
It's like that's usually what I would do is like, let's say if I'm really far ahead and you slip up, because you know you got to keep that intensity all the time.
Yep.
Even don't get complacent when you're ahead. You know, it's like let's say when you're hitting the nexus, and you know how people stop hitting the nexus and they just start farming them in their base. That's not intensity in my eyes. You know,
Or dude, I've seen it all the time where
been
you get the
savage.
inhib.
Yeah.
And then instead of just instantly calling
Yeah,
back,
everyone's
reset,
like,
get the
overstay.
camps,
It's like, yeah, we're
overstay. That is like low intensity. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for you, Nathan, you had really over this week. This was the first week. You had like 90, then 0, then 100. Then a game where you went from 90 to 55.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that's something like that. You lost your
Well,
focus.
I copied that from you because
that happens to me a lot.
Because you said, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because, yeah, like some games I start off well and then like I make some pretty shitty mistakes
then it
and
snowballs
basic
out of
mistakes.
control.
I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. You know, and then I'm like, oh, and then you just don't have the intensity anymore.
So you're really extreme. You're either like
Yeah, I
100
am.
or then you went from that 90 to 55. Then you had 40
Yeah.
and then you had 100.
I don't get 70s and stuff
And
I
then you had
feel like.
100 and then you had 90 and then you had 30, 100, 30, 30.
And that's in one block as well, isn't it?
Yeah, so two of these blocks, this is
Yeah.
block 4 was 100, then 90, then 30. Then block 5 was 100, then 30, then 30. So what does that mean, Nathan?
I don't
What are
know.
these 30 games?
I don't know. Maybe it's specifically for jungle because I was looking at yours. I'm like, that's so interesting. Like, because you didn't really write 100s and stuff like that. Like,
I don't think I wrote a single
do
100.
you play perfect games? Is mid lane harder to judge what a perfect game looks like as the mid lane? Because you got skill shots. Because if I think about it right now, like if I play champs like Udyr, Hecarim, and this stuff like that, right? There's not really room for error in terms of mechanics, really mechanical stuff.
Mine's not really mistakes.
What is it?
That's not what I judge my intensity of. I purely judge my intensity of like, am I using every lull state? Am I using every
Yeah.
base to think about how I'm going to win the game, what my role is in
Yeah,
the
that's
game?
what I do as well.
And I've just found that mid lane, I get overwhelmed or like I get a lead and I know the game's over.
Yes, then you get complacent.
And then I get a bit complacent. And then,
intensity,
so that's what these are. So for me, my week 1 comparative, I don't have yours where it's like 130. I have 85, 68, 78. Then I had that one game went from 90 to 55, then 80, 85, 70, 60. In that like 80 to 70 range, a lot of them. And what that was for me is either this is when I was starting to identify my issues. Week 2, I fixed it a lot, but week 1 was a real wake up call for me. It's like, shit, Curtis, like this is actually happening a lot.
It's really interesting to track it, isn't it?
Well, especially my block 1 and block 3, they're basically identical. Look at this. 85 starts off pretty strong.
Yeah.
68, slowly
Yeah.
going down.
Yeah.
And then the third one was 78. In my third block, it went from 85 to 70 to 60. So it's in that range, and I slowly get worse. I get lower intensity throughout the games.
Yeah. Yeah, you see, I can have my first game of the day is actually pretty high intensity.
Yeah.
But I can finish off with a max 100 game as well.
Interesting.
I did that yesterday, I think.
Right. And that's just because... Why is that, you reckon? You just
I
switched
don't
on?
know.
Just turned on? Well, look. For me, my reflections of week 1 was that I had a problem. I don't think I really did that much to address my intensity. It was more just recording it. I'm like, let's just see what I can do or where I'm at, right? And then I realized, look, I definitely had an ego issue.
So you thought you were better than you actually were? Or...
Yeah, well, it's just like what I noticed upon reflection that week was that I guess it's not like it's just like there's like I guess an inherent disrespect for the players that I'm versing in a way. Which was just toxic, and
It's so bad.
It's so bad, right? Because it's just like it doesn't matter, regardless of who I'm versing. I should be expressing my best self. And it was a bit of a wake up call. Like, Curtis, get your shit together. You know, it's not about who I'm versing. It's
You're
about
versing the champion, right?
well, it's not. I'm versing myself.
You're versing yourself.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you SoloQ, I'm versing myself.
Yeah, it is. It's a battle against
It's
yourself.
a battle against my own mind.
Yeah.
So I realized that a few things that were happening was that I was disrespecting the player.
Yeah.
I was doing really well, like my levels 1 to 6, and then again I'd be like, okay, this is like I'll just lower my intensity, And then, like something bad would happen, and then I would lose more intensity,
Yeah.
and then it would just
Because what you do is you start thinking about
you
that
start
play,
thinking about it, yeah.
and then you're missing so many bits of information at that point, aren't you? Because you're like, because I remember, I literally
You just wake up sometimes. You just wake up.
This is literally what happens, right? So let's say you like die, and you know, because sometimes you can see a mistake happening as it happens, so you know it's pretty shit, right?
Right.
And then I die, and then I just stare in space, like you look at my screen, because I look at my reviews, right? And I would sit there and I'm just staring at this grey screen, right?
Really, you do that? So you just stare?
Yeah.
You don't move your camera or nothing?
Yeah, I think it just for like 2-3 seconds or something like that. And then I just sit there and I just stare, because I'm just thinking about like, fuck, like I've reviewed this 100 times and it's just happening again.
Right,
you know?
right.
It's just like a realization.
I've
like,
never had that.
Like, wake up, really?
I never have that.
Oh, maybe it was just a me thing or something.
I
like
actually need to. I can't tell you what I.
But
I
that
can't tell you my
4
process.
seconds, that 4 seconds is like, again, I'm missing so much bits of
so
information,
much.
and my intensity just drops, dude.
Yeah, you go from 0 to 100.
Plummet,
100 to
dude.
0, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so that was, I guess, week 1, and I realized I had a problem. And I said, Curtis, right, let's get my shit together. So starting week 2, I turned my intensity around big time. So yours was actually very similar.
Yeah.
100, 90, 100, 100, 120, and 100.
Yeah.
So bet you're killing it, dude.
Yeah,
you're
dude,
a max
I'm playing
intensity.
fucking out of my mind these
And
days,
that makes
dude.
sense, because you've been climbing a shit ton. You've been
I'm
winning most of your
dominating,
games,
yeah.
right?
Yeah. I feel like I'm literally just gapping everyone at the moment, dude.
So
But
you're not getting challenged.
no. But I would say again, I mean, I didn't play that many games this last week. But I mean, maybe there is a thing there. I'm playing less, so I have more intensity. Maybe, I don't know. But like when I play my blocks, like I'm fully focused. Like I'm off Discord. Like, I mean, actually, I am on Discord, but I mute the Discord and stuff like that. But like, you know, yeah, I did that thing where I watch VODs in between.
Yep, me too. I did that as well.
I'm just switched on. I'm ready to enter that game. I'm already visualizing the game and everything like that in Champ Select.
Yeah, I mean, and then for me, I turned it around. I went block 1, 95, 90, 98, 90, 92, 95.
So why is there no hundreds there, Curtis? I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm close, because still, even in the games where I'm 98, there's just...
How do you write 98?
No, because
So
I
it's like,
know what I can
what
do.
is it?
I've seen myself at
Okay,
100, and this
yeah.
isn't it. Because
Really?
there's no stakes on the line
Got
at
it.
the end of the day.
Really?
I can't, for me right now, and
Yeah.
maybe I need to identify or actually reflect on myself. I can't get myself to go to 100. I think that if I would have versed again, maybe if there was something on the line, or there was or again, because I'm like, yo, I don't feel challenged. Maybe is like I'm winning every game. This week I won basically every game. I think I went like 10-1 or something. I basically won every game.
Well, why is your challenge again? My challenge to myself is playing perfectly, like not making a single error.
That's not really what I come in with.
That's
No.
a challenge, man. It's fucking hard to do.
No, mine's more just purely intensity, whatever the outcome is. I don't really care about perfect League of Legends. I care about max intensity League of Legends. And whatever that result is, that's me expressing my best self.
But my thing is, I can't play perfect League of Legends if I don't have max intensity, because max intensity equals collecting amazing amounts of information, like F keys.
Yeah, but I know
map
that a
movement.
perfect game isn't possible, so I don't strive for it. It doesn't make me feel anything. Like when I hear that word, perfect League of Legends, it just doesn't get me excited.
It gets me excited. Maybe mid lane's different.
Yeah,
for
I think
jungle.
mid lane's just very different.
Because I guess with
Jungle you can have quote unquote a perfect game.
You have a visualization of how the game plays out, because I've game plans, right?
Yeah, you can basically everything's very structured. Very
isn't
structured.
it? So I think that jungle's only a role that you can have.
Because like
perfect
for
games.
me, yes, mid lane is structured in terms of early laning, like levels 1 to 5.
Yeah.
But then after that, it's very.
I can see
very
that. It actually makes sense to me. Yeah, and I don't think you can have
I
perfect
don't,
games.
Perfect just doesn't make sense. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
See, I know what that looks like in my game. I do it all
Yeah.
the time.
Because when I think of perfect League of Legends as a mid laner, I think of specific areas.
Yeah.
So you can be perfect in areas.
Yeah.
So you hit every skill shot, or like you tether perfectly.
Yeah.
Or you ward perfectly. It's like I don't know what that look. I don't know if you combine all that. I don't know what that looks like, because they would look different every time based off the matchup, based off variables in the game.
My perfect games look different as well.
But because I can have perfect games as a mid laner, and I'm purely just not dying. My role is to just not die.
Yeah, and that's good.
So that's what I'm saying.
game.
The fact that it's that unclear, how I can one game, a perfect game,
Well, it's sort of like
just so
you
different.
didn't make a single mistake. Like in your review, like you wouldn't write or like any mistake.
Okay, so what's interesting, Nathan, with jungle, I feel like it's very easy to dictate what was or what wasn't a good play. But with mid lane, it's very interesting because, okay, let me explain this. With mid lane, there is a million different ways you can play a lane. And a lot of the time, I can't even tell you what is the most optimal. At the end of the day, it comes down to what your preference is. What is your interpretation of the champion? So think of it like this, Nathan. Imagine if Nunu, so say he has the identity of like an early ganker.
Yeah.
He wants to get laners ahead.
Yeah.
He's not a carry, right? He's to get other people ahead. It's very simple what his identity is, and therefore, based off him having a clear identity and based off him having this like, real clear, he's a ganker, he needs to create secondary win cons, whatever it is, you can use your logic to reason out that this is a perfect game. This makes the most sense because it brings about this result. For mid lane, though, you can play... Imagine if Nunu, was a carry. There was another build you could go, or another way of interpreting Nunu's identity where you could go like full AP and you were a genuine carry threat. And you could and this was an equally viable way of winning the game as well, based off one's interpretation of the champion. That's what it is for mid lane. You can play Orianna so many different ways. You can play Zed and Fizz so many different ways. You can play this champ, and Twisted Fate's a perfect one. So many Twisted Fate players play... You look at every Twisted Fate player right now, basically all of them have differing runes, differing builds, and they play very differently. Now, Twisted Fate specifically was super interesting. You'll get Twisted Fate players that play purely for lane. There's this EU guy, lane-dominant Twisted Fate player. He went Ignite every time with secondary sorcery, played for lane with Electrocute and Aggression. Then you look at others that play never for lane, minimize the spellbook, only ever use the Ignite in side lanes. Very different ways of playing Twisted Fate, but they bring about, that they're not even the same result, actually. They're very different ways of playing the champion. Some play burst-oriented Twisted Fate, some play peel. And that's why it's confusing to me what perfect means. It's like, perfect depends on your interpretation. There's no clear... I don't know what perfect means. I don't know what I'm seeing in my mind.
Because when you say that, it's like you have different ways of playing champions. Like, okay, well, at the end of the day, again, your jungle fundamentals are clearing your camps correctly.
Yeah.
Gank assessment, conceding crabs, taking the right objectives,
Yeah.
counter jungling when possible. Like none of that's really got to do with interact. Because I guess you're just not really interacting.
Yeah, but you're not factoring in the game plan at that point though. In order to have a perfect game, your game plan has to be perfect, doesn't it not? Because that's part of what you look at a perfect game. It's like, I incorrectly identified this as a win con.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you sometimes in games whether I should or shouldn't have gone either side lane. I couldn't have told you whether I should actually shove and reset here or I should actually play greedy. I can't tell you. I actually don't know.
But let's say...
I really don't know.
But for some games, like let's say again, your TF, right?
There's going to be some games where, yes, it is easy. I could say I played this very optimally, but I can't tell you if that's played perfectly because I probably could have played Twisted Fate a very different way and won this game another way.
Yeah, but you're adapting to the information. Isn't there a best decision to use his ultimate at a given moment in the game?
In some situations, yes. In some situations, but again, not every situation. There's been sometimes with Twisted Fate specifically where I'm like, I genuinely don't know if ulting here or holding my ult is better. It's just coin flip.
Really? You sure about this?
I don't know if this matchup
Yeah.
can use this kill or not. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Or is it better for me to hold it, wait for my jungler to come back on the map, and then if I get a kill round there, then maybe we can get an objective or get something else. Because the thing with Twisted Fate is like the threat of the ultimate itself, which is very valuable.
That's true, yeah.
So I can't tell you in that moment, even in review, it's like, this worked. There's an alternate reality where there's another way of playing this out every time.
Because if I'm thinking about I'm playing with a TF, I try and tell them where I want their TF ult to be. Because I want to make a play ideal. Because you ideally want about 4 people, right?
Yeah. Ideally, you want the jungler reserve.
So
or you want your jungler on that side so you can get something else. Like an objective or a tower or whatever.
Yeah, so let's say for example, you got a Darius on your team, right? And
Yeah.
I'm playing Hecarim and you're playing TF, right? And like we're Darius and we're into, let's say you're against a Yasuo mid. It's a tank top laner. So Darius is like destroying him.
Yep.
And let's say it's like another tank, like we're playing against an Udyr or something like that. Darius is excellent into their top side, right?
Yeah.
So we should be ulti in top. Well, let's say it's a Shen. When he's into a Shen,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because we don't. Well, if you all bot Shen ult, and that's he's using his strength, right? So there is a best decision there, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, the theory behind it, yes.
We
I
have to
totally
opt
agree.
out.
And maybe that's an obvious situation. Maybe
Yeah.
that's 1 in every 8 games.
Yeah.
They will exist. But that's just not common. And Twisted Fate is one champion that is probably, if you're going to think of all the mid lane champions, that's one that makes reviewing as easy as possible. Think about that. Compare that with Orianna.
Yeah, but Orianna, a perfect game in my eyes would be like CS numbers, like really well.
Okay, no, I understand what you're saying, but get more specific, okay?
Okay.
Once you play mid lane, right?
Yeah.
How do you know this? Answer me this. Dragon's coming up in 50 seconds. You have your bot's like relatively even.
Yeah.
Your blue buff is say coming up in a bit, and your jungler wants to hand off your blue. But you're also like maybe 200 gold off a lost chapter, which is like a massive spike, and but your top lane's winning. It's like this situation. So you can now factoring in all this information is the best decision to give Dragon and play more greedy for me and make sure I get a really good item spike, knowing that I can carry later on or influence my top side or something?
Yeah.
Or is it to stay on the map, get the blue buff, and then play with my jungler and then maybe
Go for the dragon.
And go for the dragon. Like, so then I would have to delay my recall, but then I could probably secure the dragon if I delayed my recall. That's a very difficult question because then it depends on how you want to play the champion. Do I want to play, or do I identify myself, my role in this game as a carry, or do I not? It's very difficult because you can play Orianna two different ways. Yeah. I could have maybe played more selflessly, played with my jungler, got the dragon, or I could stay for an extra 2 waves. Yeah. I can't contest dragon because I'll go I don't have enough time to do that. But I can maybe play topside or play for my lost chapter. Then I dominate my lane even harder. Because another concept in League, which as a mid laner, which is very interesting, I found out this is a different way.
Yeah.
Is that I found my mentality when I initially climbed to Challenger was that you want to be a very selfless mid laner. But over time, I've realized the more selfish, the better, because you make your jungler's life easier in the long run. What a jungler really wants is actually a very competent laner that gets pressure by themselves and will pay dividends in the long run. So an Orianna that farms 10 CS per minute, even if, and this is purely just what's got me results, an Orianna who farms 10 CS per minute but doesn't attend the first 2 skirmishes, even if one of your side lane gets like pretty far behind, it doesn't matter. Because then you get very specific.
That's correct.
Because Orianna counters 80 carries.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
So it doesn't matter if they get fed.
It doesn't matter if they get fed. So then it gets really complicated because you're like, okay, do I value getting my jungler ahead and then maybe he can deal with the 80 carry, or do I let him not be able to make as many plays, but then I get ahead?
That. But let's say you do that, Curtis. It's a perfect game, again, given the information you have, because you're essentially knowing to care. Don't worry about bot side, getting yourself as strong as possible. Let's say if you do that, that's perfect.
But it's perfect in the context of your game plan. But that doesn't mean it's perfect. That's what I'm getting confused about. Because what I don't like about the word perfect means that there is nothing else that you can do. Perfect in my mind, when I think of that word, when you say it, it's like, this is the most optimal decision in, like, there's nothing else. Perfect's perfect, right? That's like 100 out of 100. That's the best decisions you can make.
Yeah.
But I feel weird saying that because it's like, okay, this is just one option.
So you think you can get close to it, but it's not
That's
perfect.
why I put 98.
Okay.
It's like, okay, this game, I won the game. It was pretty clean. But like, I probably think there's like these little areas that I probably could have optimized in hindsight that I would never see in the game anyway.
But you're saying the intensity and perfect, they're two different things. They're closely aligned. But
closely aligned, but again, I just don't like using the word perfect. It doesn't resonate with me. I don't see anything when I see it. If you were to use it rather than a perfect game, if you said a perfect at this element, it would make sense to me. It's like, okay, if you had perfect tethering on Orianna, or you had perfect wave management with Orianna, you had perfect jungle tracking or perfect tempo assessment, whatever it is, I could kind of resonate with that. But yeah, I can't tell you what a perfect game looks like.
I guess it's like you have intention with every decision. Like you understand what's at play, and you did this.
Yeah.
And if it went wrong, you sort of understand why it went.
So that's what my goal with my coaching is, dude.
Yeah.
So where we differ in our coaching is that I focus a lot on the mental stuff. You're kind of just like pure like review this decision bad because this and then go next type thing.
Well, when I do the decisions, it is mental because I'm trying to figure out why you would make that decision. Because I've done that before.
Yeah,
It's
I
like,
understand.
It is mental in a way.
But at the same time, I go deeper in the sense that like I would look at, okay, have they even thought about way before this coming out of when they're coming out of base or in the loading screen or whatever it is, or are they even coming to the game with full intensity in the first place? Sometimes I've found reviewing a VOD, I get no value even if I would pinpoint why this happened.
You would ask them before what the intensity.
So sometimes I'll get halfway through the VOD and realize that this guy's actually not trying, or like I'll talk it, then I'll actually realize that holy shit, this is actually like.
Yeah. So then what do you do?
Well, then I go into the specific. Is it a schedule problem? Are they spamming games? This is the fifth game you played in this.
Got it.
Because there's no value that they're going to get from this VOD if they're playing this game as their fifth game in a row and they're playing with, 60% intensity. Sometimes my clients, dude, my biggest takeaway from a review is saying, you just, like, I even told this guy, look, I think this was actually this morning. I said to him, look, there's a lot of little things in this game, but none of it is why you're at this rank. The reason you're at this rank, and I can't even tell you where you're at right now because watching this game, you can see these mistakes in hindsight, but you have an execution problem. So one thing, my recent breakthrough, I factored mistakes or problems in a review into two categories. It's either a theory problem or an execution problem. A theory problem is when they have some sort of misunderstanding when it comes to, say, like a concept, or they didn't really understand their champ's identity, or something like that. It's a very specific concept, or like an understanding of the game itself. When it comes to execution problems are different. It's like whether they just like they mess up the wave, or they don't lean to the right side, or when you know in hindsight when they're reviewing it, they're like, oh yeah, right, I should have been leaning here. Like that, it's so obvious to them. And when that says to me, it's a difference. You've got to coach that in a different way. Then it's either they've come into the game with low intensity, they haven't been utilizing their loading screen or lull states, they're not warmed up, they're spamming games. There's something else that is preventing them from executing. There's something else along they're tilted, they're raging at the team, whatever it is. So then with execution, you can't just look at it at face value. Yes, there's an element of just sheer muscle memory. If it comes down to like they don't know how to tether, then that's an execution as well. Then I'd give them a drill. Then I'll give that person a specific Oriana drill or a specific Victor drill, or tell them to do 1v1s. That's where 1v1s come into play. They know that they should throw their Oriana Q here and not there, but I can't. At the end of the day, that's where one-on-ones, 1v1s come into play, right? So what I'm saying is that with my coaching clients, it's just like with some of those people that can't say they don't know. Say this guy, for example, he was just like autopilot mindlessly shoving the wave, or he wasn't warding and leaning. And the reason he was doing this is because
he knows to do it. Obviously.
He knows to do it, but he was just chilling. He's just kind of just chilling, and he had to use his lull states. And the objective I set for him is you got to use your lull states to identify these things, ask high quality questions, to get yourself in the game. Then I can figure out what you do and don't know. Then once you do that, then I'll know. Oh, interesting. That's what you don't know. That's what you do know. This is what you're good at. This is what you're not good at. Right now, everything looks arse, even though you probably can do this in some games, and that's not what I'm here to do. I'm here to identify and help them when I'm not there. But if I show me that VOD and you do this, you're actually just not going to get any value from your reviews. That's the worst thing you can do, actually. The worst thing you can do is play a game, come out of it, and use that excuse, which is my problem. That's what my problem was. There's very little value I'm going to get from a review when my intensity is at 68. Because I don't know what was a result of my lack of intensity, or I don't know what was a result of me just not knowing. Is that a genuine area that I need to work on? You know? So where were we?
You went on a rant saying how coaching styles differ and all that sort of stuff, right? So you focus more on the mental side.
Well, it's like
you say mental side's more for Diamond Plus, don't you?
No, that's what I've noticed as well.
It's not.
But yes, it is. Okay, so I've changed the way I coach Diamond Plus. When it comes to Diamond Plus, Nathan, I used to think that the higher you go, the shorter the reviews should be. Because the mistakes mean more in a way, right? Because it's like you die a solo kill, whatever it is. The player likely at that point in time is going to know how to run you over. Or the jungle you're versing is going to be good enough to be able to punish that lead, whatever it is. I understand that. But what I've noticed with Diamond players is that you don't really find out what their real bad habits are until you actually just watch them play. Like, you really watch them play. And what I mean by that is, we know that if you got into Diamond in the first place, you've played a shit ton of games.
Played a lot of League of Legends.
You've played a lot of League of Legends. You've played thousands of games over seasons, right? So if you've played thousands of games, playing the same game in the same desk and the same computer, you've created at some point, it's inevitable.
You've had some habits.
Created some toxic views of the game.
There's some invisible narratives
There's
there.
some serious invisible narratives going on there. Some are more extreme than others, depending on the champion you play, but they exist. What I've noticed, Nathan, is that my biggest breakthroughs with my Diamond clients have actually it's never been specifics with the game. Yes, there's been elements where it's like, okay, this makes a lot of sense. This is why this is happening, so on and so forth. But it's been, okay, interesting. I can see like the way you're just viewing the game at like 18 minutes on to 20 minutes on, you're just so, like, it's just completely flawed. Like the way they're viewing their champ's identity, or the way they view their role in the game, or the way their positioning in fights as a result, and the why they perceive they have to position here. Like, there's so much like weird shit that goes on, I've noticed, when you really, really watch a VOD. And just, have you done this, Nathan, where you kind of watch a VOD in two different ways? You watch to try and see, feel, and empathize as if how they would feel in the game, versus in a logical, you know, when you kind of meme other coaches, you say, everyone like watches these other coaches, they watch as if they're God mode, and like it's like perfect theoretical world. There's that style where you kind of look at things from a very like just theory shit, bullshit, or you're like trying to look at it from like in their eyes. What would it feel like? What would I do in this specific situation?
I always do that. That's what I have to do.
That's what you have to do, right?
Yeah.
So I've noticed when you do that throughout an entire VOD, all the way through, you find some crazy shit from like 18 minutes onwards. And before, I never used to do that.
So you never used to get to the 18 minute? Or
I was at the end of review. It's like, you made these mistakes. There's room for improvement here. But it wasn't, yes, it would help, but there was so much more that I was missing out on, dude.
So you think I should...
I think you should, for your Diamond client specifically...
Yeah, go further into the game.
You should go further. And just really just get in their mind. What are they thinking? And why are they thinking that? Like, you can really feel what is in their head if you watch them long enough.
But what are you looking for? What's an example?
An example, I mean, there's so many ones about... So many things around just like grouping and between grouping and split pushing. But not even the specific, but the mentality they have when doing it. Also, like, identifying... like little areas to farm, and like the mentality on like not getting farm versus getting farm, and their failure to identify their role in a game. There's a lot of stuff around role in a game and how that influences your decision making. When you reset, when you should or shouldn't reset, and it's like the mentality behind those decisions. Specifically, like I said, positioning in fights, the way they use abilities in fights. The way, like, are they trying to get to objectives early? Do they not care about getting into objectives early at all? That's a huge one. If you're playing like a control mage, you've got to get to the objective early and control the choke points. Or you're just going to leave it up to chance and just rock up when you do. That's huge. It loses you the game. If you're playing Seraphine, or you're playing Orianna, or you're playing Victor, it doesn't matter how good your laning phase is. You get to 15 minutes and you rock up to an objective late, you're useless. You can't do anything. You can't walk in. You just get one shot from the side because you get picked off. That's what I've noticed as well. People just lose at 18 minutes because they don't know how to position around a fight, an objective. So
it's more of like a team fight thing, right? Like your identity in that fight.
But again, I tie that. It's like, well, what else are you going to do? That's what I've noticed, Nathan, is that like they just kind of, some players specifically, is like, if you really know how to win a game with your champion, you really know how to win a game with Nunu, you're not just going to switch it off and stop stacking objectives randomly at 18 minutes, are you?
Well, you might have to if you can't contest the objectives.
Okay, you might have to, right?
Yeah.
But that's a choice. You actively understand that you were trying to bring about something, but you couldn't. My problem is that if they don't understand what they're trying to bring about, the end goal, how to win a game, kill the Nexus with Orianna, it doesn't matter how strong you are. You can do the laning phase. That's great. But you got to tie it all together. How you win a game with Orianna. It's versus getting a lead versus killing the Nexus is what I say.
Yeah, that's right. Closing out a game is what I'll be calling that. It's like, how do how do we end this game now? It's like, how do we win this game? I would always say, how do we win this
Yeah,
game? in
but
15
what I've
minutes?
noticed, Nathan, is that saying specifics in those
Yeah.
situations doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
Because their mentality.
You have to have more of the mindset of how to close out this game.
Spot on. The mindset has to be aligned with the specific. You
So
don't just pull specifics out of the thin air. You don't just say get to the objectives first because Curtis said so. You don't just say do this because Nathan said so. I said that, or you say this because this is what helps you win games with this champion. You've done it before.
Well, would a mindset be your bot lane's ahead, so you're playing around wherever your bot lane is, you're with your bot lane for the rest of the game. Is that an example?
I would say a mindset is that's like the result of a mind. So the mindset is like searching for who are the potential.
Who are the strongest people?
Who
in
are the
my team?
exactly? Or searching for because again, you can't identify your role accurately on a team unless you know this stuff. You don't know, and what I mean by role on a team, your role identifies when you should reset, how often you need to group, how much farm you can and can't get, how do you need to position in team fights, how do you need to use your abilities. With Orianna and Twisted Fate can play dive, I can play peel, I can create space, hold my gold card, I can use my ult defensively to see invisible targets. I can do a lot of things, right? But if my mentality is, okay, based off all this information, what's happening in the game right now, what is my role? That's great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the main thing I see, dude. There's none of that role assessment. And the mindset behind getting to that conclusion is the most important bit.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm. Is it different if you make a mistake? If you make a mistake, do you just get punished more if you make a mistake in the jungle than you do as a laner?
What do you mean? by that?
Like I'm trying to think. Just everything you just explained over the last 20 minutes,
Dude,
right?
yeah, I totally agree.
Like you can fuck up a game as a jungler.
So I had a game.
But I feel like I can adapt to my laners. I'm actually fine if I'm
you
in
can't
lane
do that.
losers.
Admit.
You can't.
I had a review, right?
Yeah.
Scott, this is a perfect review.
Yeah.
Orianna versus, I think it was Orianna versus Seraphine mid.
Yeah.
In platinum.
Yeah.
He going relative even, flashes forward, kills the Seraphine, but because he flashed and died to the Kazakhs, game over. Nothing. Even if I was in that game, I lose. The reason being is because what happened in that game is now I get 0 river control.
Yeah.
I can't walk up past the river. I can't use my offense as my defense anymore. I'm a victim. Game over. There is 0 way to win that game as Orianna. Even if I'm putting that game in plat, I cannot win anymore. Because you had a Fiddlesticks jungle. You trade flashes with it. You trade flashes. Kazakhs will kill you over and over again.
Is that a Seraphine Fiddlesticks?
No, he's playing Orianna with a Fiddlesticks jungle. He's versing a Seraphine Kazakhs.
Yeah.
One mistake.
Yeah.
And what I said to him, and I said, this is so brutal, and I understand why this is so frustrating, but you can never die to a Kazakhs. If you blow your flash and die, you can die, but not blow flash, it's fine.
Got it.
But as soon as you blow flash and die, it's game over. The sad reality. One mistake as a control mage, it is completely. Depending. Obviously, it depends on the comp, right?
Yeah.
If you're versing a Kha'Zix, yes, one mistake, it's game over. If you're versing a Nunu, one mistake, it's game over. There's certain champions that just destroy control mages. It's brutal, dude.
But is that how often is that though?
With control mages, very often.
It's very often.
Very, very often.
Got it.
With champions with a lot of utility like Twisted Fate, you can fuck up a game and still be, because you have a point and click stun.
Yeah.
You can still be kind of useful.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of control mages. Victor's a huge one. Victor, dude, you wouldn't understand the amount of less.
But Victor's fine. He can be 0-2 down, dude.
No, you can never be 0-2 down.
dude, I win with Victors all the time. I carry their ass man as a jungler.
But it's not in his control. There's nothing he can do.
That's true. Sorry, that makes sense. Because then you would end the review because it's
end of review. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, you're right.
Like control mages. To be honest, even assassins in the game. If you play Fizz and you miss your ult and waste your ignite, it's game over, dude. The first one. Twisted Fate sometimes as well, even, depending on the game state. You have one opportunity to do something.
Yeah.
If the game is hard. You have one opportunity, one ultimate. If you miss it, you fail. Sometimes it's game over, dude.
I don't know, Curtis. I feel like that jungle is
the
a
jungle
lot
is
more
a
punishing.
way easier role, by far.
It's an easier role in bot sense.
You can just control so much, and because you're not in a lane specifically, your laners can just like avoid ganks. You can like ward from ping where the enemy jungler is, and you're not super impactful, but you're not out of the game, or your laners aren't out of the game. And at the end of the day, you're a jungler. You're not a carry.
Yeah.
Junglers aren't the carry
That's
role.
right, yeah.
So that's why it's not that important at the end of the day. It's like...
Wait, it's not important to make mistakes as a jungler.
No, obviously you get punished, but it's like it's less impactful to make a mistake as a jungler because the laners at the end of the day is what wins a game. Laners win the game. Junglers, the way I view it, is they're like the setup. They're the facilitators.
Yeah.
So let's just say what happens, right? Let's say you're playing Olaf. You get fucked as Olaf when you're behind, right? But at the end of the day, your lane is still doing lane shit.
Yeah, of course.
But if you're laner, you have an Olaf, what happens, dude?
No, but what happens, Curtis, when you make a mistake? Let's say right now, let's say the meta's like Udyr and stuff like that, right, Curtis? Right? So let's just think about this. Let's say it's Udyr versus a Kindred, okay?
Yep.
Okay. Udyr does a full clear. Kindred stuffs up a gank. Udyr double crabs the Kindred, okay?
Yep.
You now, if the Udyr does correctly plays and traps,
Kindred's out of the game, right?
but if Kindred's out of the game, that means you have no map pressure. You never have river control. Doesn't that completely...
I think we just... Nathan...
Doesn't that completely remove the impact that you can have as a laner?
No, but Nathan, the conversation's pointless because it depends on the champs that are in the game. There's some champs that can... Imagine if the enemy had an Anivia.
If the enemy had an Anivia, then I guess it's fine. But still no, though, dude.
What happens if there's like a really... like your it's like a Darius top and he's like really doing really well and there's a Anivia as well who's doing really well. Kindred can play through the... Like, Kindred has room or... Because, again, Anivia should never die. There's certain, like... that's what I'm saying, Nathan. It's so specific.
You can counter
That's just
jungle.
one specific game.
You can go into them and impact them.
Okay, what happens in other games where you can't? Where the matchup isn't that good? Or, you know... And you're talking about an extreme case as well. That's not like a little mistake.
That doesn't happen every game.
That's like a fucking game. That's a huge mistake. That's the equivalent of like a mid laner dying...
Got it.
Like SoloQ at level 2 or some shit.
And then missing an entire wave.
And missing like 2 waves.
Yeah.
That just doesn't happen.
What's another example?
I mean, at the end of the day, Nathan...
Another example is something like losing Rift Trail. That's game changing. Like, let's say a jungler comes down and comes bot and then fails a gank and then all his topside camps are up and loses Rift Trail as well.
I totally agree that making a mistake as jungler is obviously impactful. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
No, but my argument is it's more impactful than a laner.
I think it just depends on the game, dude. It depends on the game.
But I feel like that a lot of the time, there's a lot you can't do. The game is just screwed if you make...
So you're saying that if like a Orianna versus Yone...
Yeah.
And your Orianna gets solo killed by a Yone...
Yeah.
And the enemy has Yone Nunu...
Yeah.
And say Nunu fails against topside as well. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If they say fakes 2, he like tries to repeat gang top.
Mm.
And you're playing... Whatever you're playing, Lilia, you're playing Olaf into this Yone... And this Yone now solo killed your Ori twice. Because usually when they solo kill once, an Orianna with no flash versus a Nunu, even if the Nunu is 2 levels down to the enemy jungler, they can kill that Orianna on repeat. Or what's going to happen is that Orianna's going to be under her tower 24/7, getting basically... once you die once versus
Yeah, you're pretty...
What happens, dude?
Yeah.
Yone can obliterate that game.
No, but the jungler's job can
But what does
maybe
Orianna
be...
do?
No, but the jungler's job can maybe be to salvage the lane. That's possible.
There's 0 salvaging. 0.
Yeah, okay, there's not. But like...
Because even if you would get Orianna killed, he still gets destroyed.
Got it. He still gets destroyed anyway.
Just always lose, no matter what.
Okay.
That's the thing, Nathan, is like it's specifics. Again, maybe if that was Orianna versus Victor, it's less impactful. You know? But even then...
maybe all mistakes are in the same light for every role.
Look, it depends. Okay, in a game where... There's going to be games, Nathan, where your laners get counterpicked and they do really well and you get behind, you just get carried. Conversely, there's a game where I get behind as a laner and my jungler plays like Hecarim, gets like 3 kills and takes over the game with a Hecarim.
Yeah, but remember, you didn't make mistakes in that game. You understood your role.
No, if I die, that's what I'm saying. If I die 2 times as Orianna, but I have a Hecarim Yumi, who just takes over the game, you know, the Hecarim can like carry. Conversely, you can get behind as a jungler and your laners can carry.
Yeah, but you could make that game harder for your Hecarim and Yumi, can't you? To the point where maybe it's unwinnable.
Yeah,
but you're understanding the role that you're playing there.
Well, look, I think we're going around in circles right now, but
so I'm curious. You know how you said that you think reviews go longer in Diamond because you go more about mindset and mental stuff.
That's correct.
So you go to you talk about schedules and that sort of stuff, right? Like
not
intensity
always.
for games.
I mean, this might be every 1 in 5 reviews.
Got it. Not always. Okay.
Always, it depends. But what I'm saying is that again, my goal and your goal, I don't know what your goal is, but with mine anyway, is I'm not there to help him in that game only.
Yeah, that's right. I'm always trying to give him the framework, the tools to apply to every game. Correct.
So I don't. So yes,
I don't care about
let's just say
specific situation.
We'll say theoretically, I would only go over the first 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And let's say yes, there was room for improvement, and maybe there's some room for improvement with laning, tethering. Maybe missed a ward opportunity, didn't lean onto the correct side once, but had to blow flash once. Yes, these are all very impactful and game changing. But a lot of the time, I still want to look at what their mentality is in this. I want to see what they're thinking. I want to see how they identified their role. I want to see what concepts they do or don't understand in reference to winning a game with this champion. What concepts are they thinking about? Are they using their lull states? Are they not? Are they thinking about their positioning? Are they not? Are they thinking about timing their base timers in mid game or not? Are they? I don't know. Are they calling objectives off? That's a huge one. If you're playing a control mage and assassin, there's so many times we have to say can't drag and go top side. You know what's funny in my reviews in Diamond Plus? Not a single jungler calls a play off on.
Yeah, I know that's correct.
So as a mid laner in all my reviews, even in Grandmaster Plus, in NA and EU, you always got to be the one that can take control.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's actually what I should be telling my diamond junglers. I mean, I do that, but you got to be making the play. Everything. That's what I'm saying.
But this is all later. This is 18 minutes in the game. Even if you're behind, you still got to have the mentality to give. I can't contest this dragon.
Yeah.
Are you just going to go to it anyway and die and lose the game?
Yeah. So you autopilot. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, Nathan. Like, yes, I understand. But the thing is, you can review this from both ways. If they're ahead, great. Did they call it? Are they behind? Great. Did they call that they can't do it? That's what I found anyway, and that's what, dude. Because that's where my biggest breakthroughs with my clients been so far. It's like, holy shit, I didn't realize this is so big. But anyway, back to the intensity thing. Look, it'll be interesting to see where this takes us. My goal obviously would be to have as much intensity as I can. And a few things that have helped me so far with my intensity have been, I haven't been looking at name tags as much. I've been dodging a lot more. Because what I've noticed is dodging, it's not even the act of, it's not even the fact that I'm saving LP. It's the mental. Because
if you go into that game knowing that this was a pretty ridiculous game anyway, that's just like...
It ruins my intensity for the rest of the block. Yeah. I'm like, well, why? I knew I should have dodged. I didn't dodge. I'm pissed off myself. I didn't dodge. So that's actually been a huge one, I think, by the way.
Yeah.
Why I've climbed a lot recently. And also the other one is I played one game that was outside of my block and I had 25. It was terrible. The one game that I played outside my block randomly, I was like, I want to do an extra game. It was shocking. It was my only loss.
So I did one of that. I did that and I had 100 for that game.
Wow, dude. So why is that? You reckon it's just luck or do you reckon...
Could be luck. It was only one game potentially. But again, it's like if I have 100% intensity,
so it doesn't matter.
I'm collecting every piece of information.
Maybe you just had a lot of energy that day,
or focus, energy. I don't know. I think it also stems from the confidence. I've just been popping off in all my games, so I think confidence is actually a big factor as well. You always say leads a confidence game. Yeah,
it is, dude.
Like if I was to go on like a 6 loss streak, like. But again, that's my point of my 3 block thing. It's like then it's just again it helps me deal.
It prevents you from actually
playing low intensity games.
Yep. Prevents you from going on these huge streaks. I had a guy reach out to me. He's in my Midland Academy, and he says he's been struggling, not getting many results. Right. Looked at his OBGG.
20 game blocks.
Yeah. First thing I see, he's already got 700 games played.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
And first thing I asked, do you play in blocks?
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's problem number 1.
I mean, dude, like, at the end of the day, I can't help you if you don't play in blocks.
Yeah, just because of the intensity. Yeah, the intensity. You have to be playing 110%.
You have to be, because the thing is, he says he goes on these streaks and shit. No shit.
Yeah, of course you're going to do it.
Of course you're going to do it.
That's what me all last year, dude.
You just go on streaks.
You just go around and you actually never improving. You're never improving.
And it's more about you just don't know what you don't know what you know, and you don't know what you don't know.
That's right. You're just plainly legends.
Just playing. And look, none of my content will help you. It won't.
Yeah, if you don't play 110%.
Only if you don't try, get yourself to try.
So do you have some, because I have specifically one diamond guy who I swear his only problem is intensity. Because I review some of his games and his decision-making, information, collection, and calling plays
as well.
is at easily a master tier level plus. It's intensity, right?
Yep. I've had guys like that where they're like platinum, and I think it's pure intensity as well.
It's pure intensity.
Or confidence.
Yeah,
mixture sometimes. But yeah, I've seen them as well, dude. I think a lot of those people as well, I don't know what that is. It's tricky. A part of me thinks that like they don't really want it in a weird way, or like not hungry, or I don't know. Hey, something going on there. I don't know what that is, but yeah, they exist. Totally agree. And they're terrifying. Because you could see how, like, I'm like, I've had them in a while. I'm like, holy shit, how are you platinum, dude? The way you've played this game.
But it feels so weird when I say it because I feel like that hurts them.
Me too.
Because they're
like saying it.
Because that gives them ammunition to be like, oh, like if Curtis doesn't understand my play, it must be my teammates, you know, or like.
Or you just give them false confidence.
Yeah. I actually hate saying that.
Me too.
Fuck, dude. I think.
But I don't know what else to say. It's like, holy shit, the way you played this is great.
Yeah, it's great, dude.
This is great. Fundamentals are great here. Honestly,
you've got all the information here. You're making excellent, high quality decisions. It's not by luck.
Yeah.
You're telling me everything that you're doing here.
Yeah.
I'm seeing your mouse and map movements.
Yeah.
What's the problem? It's actually frustrating, isn't it?
That's dude. That is literally the exact same problem I have with my diamond client. And I said, now I go further into VOD, and that's when I started to see things.
Got it.
That's when I started to see things because his landing was great. Dude.
Yeah.
Fundamentals great. Great recall timings. Great landing. Great warding. And it gets like 15, 18 minutes, whatever it is. I'm like, holy shit. He's just like, why is he going to this fight again? Why did he
suddenly stops thinking?
Like again, yeah, you find out all these crazy things, dude. You find out all these really things that we would think are obvious, and again, you realize that it's tied to something deeper. A lot of the time, it's not just I don't understand the concept of X. It's not like you're going to come to that conclusion. It's going to be like something completely different, or yeah, I thought the game was over, or you know, some bullshit. I don't know. They don't take into account summoner spells in mid-game, whatever it is.
So this is a good tie-on to... so this is text from my SoloQ, my coaching program. This is from one of my EU NA people. His name's Voy. Shout out to Voy. Cool guy. My confidence is at all-time low. I'm pretty sure a gold jungler would win some of the games I'm losing. He's Diamond 1, for context. I think he hovers between Diamond 1 and Diamond 2. And then he says, I'm so in my head right now. Feel like my jungling fundamentals are so bad and inflated. I've inflated my elo by playing Lily and Hecarim, where you can always fall back to full clearing and you don't get too behind, which just doesn't cut it in D1, D2 MMR games. And then he created a learning objective, which is good from that. He said, learning objective, drop the mindset of forcing plays when the team starts falling behind. Feel like I've been losing a lot of games by tunneling on bad or risky plays when I feel like I start losing. This 90% of the time leads to putting the game even more out of reach. Stick to the game plan, think ahead, and punish mistakes. So, being in your head, I hear that a lot. And like I think I've experienced this as well. And you know, he talks about, he tries to do all these crazy things and stuff like that. What's being in your head mean to you, Curtis? Have you been in your head? You know how you just slump last year? Because this is what I feel it is.
Yeah.
You're thinking about the future. You're thinking about the past. You're thinking about how this game affects. Instead of just playing the game, like you're just clear and playing the game. Like I feel like that. Like when I was in my head, right? Like especially last season, I was like, okay, my name's Nathan Mott. I was challenger in these seasons, right? Like, this is what my thought process will be like throughout the day. You know, it might not be during my games. It's like, okay, I play this game. I feel like I just made these basic mistakes I shouldn't have made. I feel like I'm a lot better. Maybe my teammates sort of screwed up and made that hard for me. But again, these are the things that I'm in my head. You know, you see how I'm in my head. I'm thinking of all this bullshit, right? Instead of just playing the game. This is a good decision. This is a bad decision. Simple.
Yep. Yeah, I would say that.
Like what was your self-talk this time last year? Or was it, a couple of months?
Well, for me...
What was it? Was it just a champion pool thing?
Yeah, well,
because again, now it's a champion pool thing for him as well.
Yeah, so champion, I would say, okay, the way I approach this situation is that it's different. There is different ways to be in your head. But there's more common ones than others.
Yeah.
So the most common one, I believe, is champion pool stuff.
Yeah.
Champion pool is the biggest in your head.
Yeah.
It
is, isn't it? Yeah.
Because the thing is, right?
It's like a conversation. It's a back-and-forth conversation.
Like the amount of conversations, like X champion is at X win rate, so this is the reason I'm losing.
Yeah.
Or usually, I would say the first one is, champ pools, because that was my biggest one when I had my initial slump.
So you think it was just a champ pool thing?
It was champ mastery.
Champ mastery.
And then because I had a lack of champion mastery, I was losing matchups that were quote unquote or should have been winnable.
Yeah.
Then in my mind, it's like, well, oh my God, I'm losing every matchup now. But it's just not because of my champion. It's because I had no champ mastery.
Yeah.
Or very little champ mastery. And I wasn't focusing on champ mastery.
But you didn't come to that conclusion till way back.
It took me ages because you're in the shit. You can't see it.
You're having this conversation back and forth.
Well, because the conversation you have with yourself is, I'm playing this flawlessly. And yeah, all this stuff is happening around me.
Wait,
and
yeah, but are you playing that flawlessly?
No, you're not.
You're not.
You're
yeah,
not.
yeah.
But you think you
think
kind of
you are.
you don't, because you don't see your mistakes.
Got it.
And the reason you don't see your mistakes is because, again, it's the mindset. It's like you're not looking for the question. You're telling yourself is, why is my champion bad, or why should my champion lose this game? Versus, what could I have done to win this game with my kit? You know, it's like the question you ask yourself.
The question, yeah.
And like what I noticed myself was always wasn't going to that. I wasn't saying to myself, "Oh, I'm playing Oriana here. What could I have done creatively with my kit, or how could I have optimized Oriana in a way to win this game?" Rather than saying that, it's like, okay, Oriana sucks here, or I did everything perfectly and my jungle just did this. It was just always like, it was always just toxic things. And my Oriana or the champion was always the issue.
Mm.
It was never the gameplay. So and then I think I spoke to you or something. I don't know what happened. I think I just went back to champ mastery.
Mm.
It's like went back to my core 2 or 3 champions.
I remember I just looked at the basic decision making in your
Basic
games.
mistakes.
But would you also have a conversation in your head as well? I mean, it must have been this as well, because you always would tell me, I'm not challenger, I suck.
Mm.
And you're like, I think everyone will think I'm a shit coach. Like, this is like in your head stuff as well, right? This is what it for me as well. Like, I'm stuck in Diamond, dude. I'm just suck at the game. Like I have this expectation
Yeah, but
for myself.
I don't know if we both believe that.
What?
I don't know if we when we say that we believed it, I don't know if we did or not. Like, if you really got truly someone asked you that, would we have said yes or no, you know?
I'll ask you what?
Like, if someone said to me in that moment, do you really believe you're that bad? Or to you when you're doing, do you really believe you're that bad?
Yeah. Well, it's not so much being that bad. It's like, I need to be challenged. What am I doing? Like, you know, again, like this is like in your head stuff for me.
I mean, look, yeah, it is in your head stuff because you're kind of comparing yourself to like an expectation of what you can or can't do. I get that as well. I get that a lot. People are overcomplicating things by saying, I should have won this, or I should be here, or, you know, I should have, could have, would have, right?
It all doesn't matter, right?
And it all doesn't matter at the end of the day. Yeah. It's like, okay, let's get specific then. At the end of the day, I think that was like the biggest thing I say. Let's get specific.
Let's get specific,
Let's get specific. Like,
look at the details. That's what I was
That's what saved me at the end of the day.
Dude,
why are you dying?
Agree.
That's what you said to
I
me.
agree.
Why are you dying? What happened in his death? Why did you miss that skill shot? Why did you not, you know, whatever. Just get specific.
Getting specific is the
It's
cure
the cure.
to everything.
It's the cure to everything.
I'll say that's the only reason I've gone to the money I've got.
The scary thing, Nathan, though, when it comes to reviewing, right? Because reviewing, we know, let's get in the review. It's like, let's look at it, right?
Yeah.
The scary thing is sometimes I feel like, Nathan, when we're in that hole of overcomplicating, because
you're overcomplicated and you're going into the VOD with all that stuff ready to go, and you're looking for little things to prove your narrative correct.
Exactly. You're not coming in with an open mind.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the communities are very important and the reviews are to give you sometimes a reality check. Like I had this guy, right? I'm gonna call him out, Zinnia, right? He always listens to the podcast.
Yeah.
And he talks
Zinnia
a
just
lot.
gets roasted on this thing, I swear.
Yeah, I think I have
talked about him before.
And you know, he talks a lot. He does talk a big game.
Yeah.
But I could tell he does overcomplicate things, right?
Yeah.
And he came to a review, I think it was last week. And it was just so basic, the mistakes. It's like he wrote like a Yone spreadsheet on like how to play Yone or whatever it is. It's like, okay, great. At the end of the day, you lost this lane at like level 3.
Yeah. So what do you say? You can do all these spreadsheets.
So it's like you can do all this stuff and you can think about the game as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you don't understand this matchup and you just lost because you don't know the matchup.
Great. That's great.
I know. And that's a great thing. It's like, how interesting is that? It's like, I could tell he was, oh shit. I could tell he was, there's some technical difference.
Hopefully that doesn't fall on you again, Curtis.
We got the light coming crashing down.
It's not a meme. There's like a meme from one of your
I'm
past
like gonna be in the
episodes.
dark soon, dude. This light's just
What's wrong with it?
it fell. It like
Kaz?
went down.
No, it's fine. It's just the thing on the bottom.
Okay, did the splits. Is yeah. So I was saying
So Zinnia.
yeah, I was saying
Yeah.
it's like at the end of the day, dude, you can talk about your itemization, your runes, your matchups, whatever it is, as much as you want, all this stuff. But then when it comes to the game, let's get specific about this matchup. So, for example, if you're working with that guy, right, his confidence issues, say, okay, just say this. Don't even get into that conversation. Just say, okay, what happened in this game specifically? You know, he says, oh, I'm in a hole, I'm playing like a gold through jungle, blah, 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 blah. Get specific. The first gank that you felt was bad, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else matters.
That's right. It doesn't matter. Coulda, shoulda, woulda. Woulda think. This is the facts.
The facts.
It's there. It's right there where you can look at it.
And that's what you need someone else. Because I feel like even with you, I needed when you helped me there.
Yeah.
I don't know how long I would have been in that slump for if you hadn't just pointed out that simple like, well, you know, you just died here. Why'd you die here?
Yeah, it's like saying when you were critiquing my schedule and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I could have easily just kept on going on that. I
Keep
didn't
going.
understand what was going on. I was just getting angry and frustrated, overthinking everything. But like, oh, okay, it makes sense. I'm just playing with low intensity and like I'm not actually reviewing my games.
You're not trying, showing what you're capable
I just wasn't
of.
reviewing my games.
Super simple. So for years.
These are some other quotes. I got it from another guy as well. I wanted him to give me like what's his interpretation of getting in his head. This was from I think Kevin. He says he knows what he knows what he wants to improve on, but he just feels like he's doing way too much. The what if question pops in his head all the time. What if X happens? What if? What if? Do you relate to any of this?
Okay,
guys?
so Nathan, before you continue on here, I got a thing that will make a lot of sense.
Here we go.
Okay.
This is an analogy, Curtis. I don't know what Curtis is famous analogy.
Well, so again, I used this in a coaching session recently with one of my clients who is plat. Now he's at the top of plat. He's like he went from bottom of plat to the top of plat, had huge results, and he's a guy who's in a similar position but low diamond. And the way a lot of these diamond players got a view, and even I sent this to the guy who's Grandmaster in EU. The way you got to view it sometimes is like you got to take a long-term approach when it comes to improving in league.
Yes, it has to be long-term.
People get so obsessed about that one day of 6 games or that 1 week.
Yeah.
Like the way you got to view it is this.
Yeah.
You remember, it's like that graph, right? Where on the x-axis you have level of play, and on the y-axis you have probability. Now, let's just say you're a master tier 100 LP player, right? In the middle, the highest probability is going to be master tier 100. That's where you're at right now. Or maybe that's if we played the most amount of games, you're going to be playing at that level of play. But then there's going to be at the higher end of the spectrum, there's going to be a bunch of games where you might play if you play like really out of your mind. You start to implement some of those concepts you're starting to learn that you learn in your coaching sessions. They might play at like a Challenger 500 LP or Grandmaster 500B level. Some game or in instances they play at a really great level, but on the flip side, that's only one end of the bell curve. On the other end of the bell curve, they're going to play games that are at like a D2, a D3 level at 0 LP. Now, why this is so important to understand is because you're going to have that game where you're going to play like a D3, and then the next game you play like a 500 LP, and it does your head in. You're like, what is happening? You know, what the fuck? How can I be playing this well and then this bad? And you start getting in your head. And when I hear all these Diamond 1 players, Master Tier players, Grandmaster players, even Diamond 4 high plat, what happens is they get obsessed about like trying to replicate them playing at their best. They look at themselves when they play that 400 LP game. But what you actually want to be doing is you can't just only focus on the 400 LP games. Yes, you can refine those concepts, but you're still going to have those bad games you're playing at D3 level because of your bad fundamentals. So what we need to do equally, as often as we are looking at the great stuff, is looking at these really bad mistakes and getting rid of them. So on the lowest end, you could only ever be playing at like a Masters 100 LP.
Yeah, you want to make sure the lowest.
Is
actually it's actually more important, isn't it?
It is
the lowest you're playing
because not just from a climbing perspective, but purely from a mental confidence perspective. So for me, I can autopilot it, even if I'm autopiloting like 10%
low intensity.
I can't play worse than say like a 200 LP. I just can't. My autopilot is like really at that level.
Yeah.
and then it would be the same for you. Your autopilot would still be in master, 200, 100 LP, whatever it is. But your highest, you might play like a 1200 LP level some games.
Yeah, but again, my perfect games, like this is rank 1.
But sometimes for some players, they focus so much on the new sexy concepts that get them to there, but they've completely disregarded all the things that still make them play the shitty games. So what happens, you get a player like this. Yes, he might have certain concepts in a game where he's at a gold 4 level. But they happen 1 in every 10 games. But that one time it happens, it just booms his mind. He's like, how is that possible? So what I would do with a player, if I hear a player say that sort of thing, I'll go back into the review, and rather than looking at the good things he does, look at all the mistakes and get rid of all the inconsistencies. I've had so many clients of mine where my main goal is like, okay, great, we want to replicate this stuff. Replicate. I have other people where it's not about replicating whatsoever. It's just purely about, okay, we need to introduce new concepts here. Where you're playing right now, you're actually stuck. You actually need to learn something new. And so sometimes it feels like my job is to identify, do they need to learn new things or introduce new things? Or do I just need they just need to continue the path? They're actually just they're in the thick of it. That whatever they're doing right now is great. And then as they get a little bit higher, we can come back and refine a few things. You know? So that's why I feel like when I see a lot of coaches outside of us, they'll look at like a Platinum 4 and they'll look at their micro and start critiquing their micro in these little ways. Sure, there's a lot of room for improvement, but that's not why they're at Platinum 4, and it's not realistic for them to improve on that. You're trying to push that their upper echelon, the right hand side of the bell curve higher and higher, but you're not getting rid of all the other mess behind
the inconsistencies.
it.
In terms of decision making and stuff.
Yeah, decision making, basic decision making, or basic like warding and stuff.
Yeah,
like that stuff. Like, and that's what fucks a player sometimes. That's what fucks a player real bad. So that's what I would say, getting in your head, that's one of the core reasons people get in their head. And the quickest solution in their mind is champion pool. OPGG matchmaking, fucking MMR, all this bullshit.
Yeah.
Because the cop-out, it's the quickest way, right? Because the little things are hard to spot.
Yeah, again, like I would say that it's actually so important because what I've done, you know, get into what, you know, I'm like 600 LP now. What I've done is I've got rid of all the inconsistencies.
That's what you have done.
Because even last year, again, even in my diamond games, some of those games I was like, I'm playing at a challenger level.
Yeah, you had those random games you were still killing it.
But it was so inconsistently freaking. Like that means
your fundamentals are shit.
Yeah.
But that's what you had those games at a Plat 2 level, but you played at like a challenger level.
And I've like, because remember all my reviews, and I was talking about this earlier in the podcast earlier this year. If you go back, because again, everything's recorded, all my notes are on my SoloQ website, right? It's all very quick, basic mistakes reviews, and I kept on doing it again and again. They're all gone, really. A lot of them are gone. Especially, I think the biggest one is like I perfected the art of the first crab, dude. I know exactly what's going on first crab, and that's like excellent in terms of, and game plans, win cons as well. I'd say game plans, win cons, and understanding the first crab, that alone is like a baseline, like master tier, 200 LP, you know, player.
I have very similar experiences with my Fizz. I was so inconsistent with my Fizz back in the day. I could never understand how people played Fizz.
Yeah.
Just never clicked with them. How do you play Fizz at a high level? How do you do it? And now people ban my Fizz. People compliment my Fizz. Even Get Back was saying, Get Back really likes my Fizz. He thinks it's really good. But it's all actually because now I know the matchup so well that even if I mess up, I still know what to do. Like, I still know what to do with the lane, even if like shit hits the fan or something happens. Like, I just didn't understand the theory behind the lane. So what that's actually done is my consistency and my reliability is just way, way, way higher. You know, I was just relying on mechanics or whatever before.
Or you're relying on when you're ahead. You understood how to win a game when you're ahead, but when you're like even, you were
no
really
idea.
Confused.
Yep, spot on.
Now, how'd you work that out again?
I just got into the review and watched Mangrofish and really studied the matchup specifically.
Yeah.
So if I played like Fizz into Silas, I wouldn't really care about any of the Fizz fundamentals anymore. I'll just get so specific about the matchup. Like, what does he do? What's he trying to achieve here? What wave state? When does he want to base? Why? A lot of these assassins are all about bases and gold amounts. And it's like, why is he doing this?
Because you got to get items to one-shot people, right?
Well, no, because with assassins, you don't have much wave clear. So you got to be very decisive when you recall, right? So you got to know when the cannon is or how much HP you want to ration out until that point. what sort of trades you can and can't take. You can't use your E in a way until you've got this amount of gold, whatever it is, right?
God, I know none of this stuff, dude.
Dude.
I can't get out late.
Yeah.
Jesus, dude. I
Fizz
guess that's your own fundamentals, isn't it? It's pretty fucking hard, man.
Fizz is like
hard.
requires insane at high level to play
That's
Fizz
hard.
is really hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
Think about that. Your only form of wave clear in a way is your E, which is your main form of self heal and trading.
Yeah, it's true. Far out, man. That's actually hard as shit.
So that's why you really got to understand your matchups because your offense is your defense. You got to trade and scare them off to create space to free.
Is that ZW the same thing for that?
Nah, Zed's a unique case. Zed and Dyna are unique. That's why I don't call them assassins.
Got it. They're not assassins.
I call Zed a poke mage.
Yeah, I like that, dude. I love that.
Because Zed doesn't play like an assassin.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
But people think, like, yes, post, laning phase, he's more of an assassin. But first 12 minutes of the game, he's actually a poke mage.
Yeah.
Poke, then all in.
Yeah.
But traditional assassins like Fizz and Kiana, like the real melees, those champions are very hard to play at a high level because you don't have lane control. That's what makes the champs hard. You don't have lane control. So you got to use your offense and really understand your damage output and what they can do and what abilities you're looking for and understand your tethering perfectly. Because if you don't take those windows, I'm gonna try not to exaggerate here.
Yeah.
But there's certain matchups. If you play say Fizz or Kiana into X matchup, if you're playing at a past a Grandmaster level, you don't correctly tether. You don't take that one good opportunity at level 4. The game's over.
Yeah.
I had a review with a Diamond 1 guy in NA, and he was. I think he played. He's Diamond. Maybe he's Diamond 2 or Diamond 3. And I think he's Diamond 2. And he played Orianna versus Fizz. And I said, if you played the first 3 waves like this into my Fizz, I can literally tell you exactly what is going to happen step by step for the next 7 minutes of the game. And there's nothing you can do about it. And he was terrified.
I love that.
And I said, this is what's going to happen. Then I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to do this. And just, no matter how well you play, even if you're a doper, it doesn't matter. I can still do this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it. And then I'm going to go here. And then the game is out of your control.
Yeah. Yeah, you see...
The first 3 waves.
You see, what you just explained there, again, that is exactly what can happen if you get a lead on a jungler in the early game.
But this is only
and
possible...
there's nothing they can do about it.
But this is only possible as well, Nathan, because me and you've got into the review.
Yeah.
And the decisions aren't because... Like, you really understand how to win a game. That's what it is, right? It's like...
It's how to win the game. It's not get kills.
It's how to win the game.
That's right.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset I try to get across with my Diamond players. It's not about getting a lead.
That's right.
It's about winning the game.
Yeah.
There are so many ways to get a lead if you play a jungler, right? You could probably fucking walk around.
Oh, there's ways you get leads. It's like
but
the
they
wrong
don't do
lead.
anything,
yeah,
right?
It's a bad lead.
Same thing with
It's like
Fizz.
low impact kills.
Yeah, low impact kills,
and
right?
there's high impact kills.
Same thing with Fizz. I could kill this guy, but I'm not going to use my ult at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to trade a little bit of my HP for the wave and then do this instead.
Because if you all in on that kill, right, and let's say he's needs the base anyway, right, and then he comes back on the map.
Or Jazz coming up in 20 seconds and he's going to reset and be back for it anyway.
You may have created a lead in that short period of time, but over long, you could have generated a bigger lead.
Yep.
Right?
And this is the sort of thing. And that's what you notice, Nathan, when you see watch reviews. You can see it. Sometimes you can see it earlier, 12 minutes in the review, but sometimes you don't see it until 15, 18 minutes. That's the exact same. Killing a Nexus is very different to getting a lead.
It's true. It's very true.
But yeah, getting in your head, dude. I mean, it's dangerous.
Curtis, another thing about killing a Nexus, that's the only thing I think about. And I swear to God, in my coaching sessions, it's the only thing I talk about.
Nathan, you're in a very privileged position. You understand this?
Why is that? Because I know how to win every game.
You know the game. You know all the fundamentals. So, me and you are unique in a weird way, Nathan.
Yeah,
we can't resonate in certain aspects.
Yeah.
It's like when you play a game.
Yeah, but we have that experience we can share, right?
Yeah, we can obviously share it. But what I'm saying is the way you view the game, it's very unique, Nathan. The only reason you're able to have such confidence now is because you're so confident in your ability to win the game because you've done so many reviews.
Yeah, that's right. It's great.
It's different. No one else has done that many reviews, Nathan. You know how to kill a Nexus because you've just seen it a trillion times.
It's like when you said you called for that invade, that game.
Yeah, that's not how we win the game.
That I do not give a shit about this invade. I had that confidence to call off that play.
Because you're so confident in your ability to win the game anyway.
This invade is ridiculous. Yeah. If anything, it's going to make me lose the game.
Yeah, because it's doing things that are out of your control. Yeah. It's not part of your game plan.
That's right.
Yeah, and so, but you're in a privileged position in the sense that you've watched thousands of games, right? You've watched thousands of reviews. So you see what wins games, what doesn't win games.
That's right. And I've experienced it myself.
But that's not what the average person does.
Yeah.
when they don't
So
have those
you're
experiences.
basically saying the important thing to get that mindset into them instilled because
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Our job is to
Yeah.
get the mindset and the
Thinking
way we
about how
can
to win the
generate,
game.
because we have this mindset that's very privileged. Like we have that automatic like win kill. We know based off our champ mastery and our experience playing the game.
and like the flows of games.
Yeah, what it
You know,
means,
it's like a
what
flow
events
of the
mean.
game.
Like
Yeah.
that kill is gonna do what it's gonna do and what it's not gonna do.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some situations where like I don't know, and this is what where we had the disagreement in your Discord.
Yeah.
Remember you asked me like, Curtis,
What?
do you take into account player difference? And I genuinely do.
Oh yeah, I don't like that at all. No.
I mean, I just do, dude.
Yeah.
It just is a thing.
Yeah, maybe it's a thing, but I've met
In OS, I mean, maybe not another region, but in OS anyway, I do know it's a thing because, I mean, you have like, what's his name? You have like certain players that, I'm not going to say, I hate using the word elo inflated, but it just is, just based off their champion. And like diversing a pro player, and you'll get them a kill, and it's just like, they don't translate their lead effectively. And you just know it's not going to matter. It really isn't, dude. Based off their champion as well. It's just like, it's a combination of the champion and the player.
Yeah.
It really is, dude.
Well, remember, as a jungler, sometimes you have no other options. Like, even though that might not be, you think because you're playing to a player that you feel like it's not going to be able to carry the game.
It's
like,
just a variable. That's why I think
it is a variable. I can see that.
It's a minor variable, yes.
I don't account for it that much. That's it. In terms of
when it comes to autofill jungle, holy
okay, well,
shit.
autofill
I
jungle,
play so selfishly. I play so differently, by the way.
Yeah.
If I have an autofill jungle, I'm like, fuck me. I'm in this for. I am like a lone wolf. I'm getting like gunned down from every. I mean, like a
my
canyon.
jungle's gonna be down 100 CS.
I mean, like, you know, Star Wars where there's those dudes with like the snipers.
Yeah.
In like the desert.
Yeah.
I'm like walking through like a canyon,
Yeah.
and like these guys are just like trying to shoot me from a distance. That's how I feel like when I have an autofill jungle.
That's how bad it is.
Or like I'm playing in a different way. I'm playing to protect myself at all times.
Versus like I'm going to use my jungle as a tool to win the game.
Yeah, I'm gonna exactly. I don't view him as a tool at all. I don't register him as a tool.
Okay.
You know, he's not even in my thought process.
This might be a toxic mindset, Curtis.
Yeah, but okay, Nathan. Before you say that, I urge you to play with an autofill jungle as a mid laner.
Well, I'll never do
level.
that because Curtis, I don't queue up as mid lane.
Well, then don't comment on it, dude.
Well, I just think that could be an invisible toxic narrative, Curtis.
Well, I will say this to the end of time.
Okay.
Autofill jungle, autofill any role, but autofill jungle specifically should not exist in 2021. I think it's a travesty.
Okay.
Because the role is not League. It's not League of Legends. Different. Like jungle, like laners, I can kind of see it. Even then, it's a shit show. It shouldn't be allowed. But like top and mid, there's a lot of flow on effect. 80 carry and mid and top. You're still CSing. You're still zoning. You still know timing your abilities with the enemy last hitting. Still the same fundamentals. With jungle, it's not at all. Like the fundamentals of all the lanes are relatively similar, but the fundamentals of jungle
It's a different game.
is just different.
It is, yeah.
So the fundamentals don't actually overlap.
Yeah.
Very yes, little things, sure.
Yeah.
But it's just not. You get one player who's a really good jungler, 1000 LP jungler, versus an autofill guy who doesn't play jungle and is a 400 LP player. Not only is he not a 400 LP player, that guy couldn't even win in jungle in platinum. Legitimately, he couldn't even win in platinum with it.
Probably. He wouldn't be able to carry. He wouldn't be able to consistently carry.
No, he would struggle in platinum as a jungler.
It's like one of versus autofill jungle. Sometimes it's so obvious.
It's so obvious what they're
going
gonna
to
do.
tracking it. It's just like there's no mind games.
It's like you versus me in mid lane.
Yeah, yeah. I would be.
What the hell? What happens?
I don't know what to do.
What happens?
Yeah,
it's just not even fair. It's not even like
I just play
spent
Galio,
years.
dude. I just ult, dude. So
Yeah, but I spent years.
It's true. Yeah.
You can't. It can't. It just does. It's doesn't that just ruin the competitive integrity of the game?
Curtis, if you were to print out, so BBC merchandise line that we always hint at.
Yeah.
What's that saying? Autofill jungle.
Or
what's it say? Like equals no. It was like I say no to autofill jungle. Like what would the T-shirt be?
make League great again.
Make League
with get rid of no autofill jungle.
Curtis, that's such a shit. That's too big on the shirt. It's gonna be like one. It's gonna be like a nice design, you know. Autofill jungle. No, maybe it's like it's the opposite. It's like main role. I support main role junglers or something. You know, you could do it the other way around.
Yeah, I don't know.
You could get creative here, Curtis, for a BBC merchandise line.
Yeah, we could come up with some creative stuff, I reckon, if we really think
all the
about
things
it.
we talk about.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we could come up with some cool shit.
We still got to sell that Curtis calendar, the fireman calendar.
That's just ridiculous, dude. Curtis thighs.
Thighs,
Calendar.
thigh calendar, yeah.
God, help me, dude.
It's just like it's like modeling his thighs, dude.
different,
like
like,
do his
outfits.
positions, and like like those little stools that like they're really small, and you like sit on, so you can like.
Oh god.
That's what you like sitting on. It's like a white background and like a red stool, dude. Photography shoot, and we do a calendar for each thing. It's like January, February thighs, March thighs.
Stop encouraging them.
I'm giving him ideas. Yeah, I'm giving you guys ideas so you can peer pressure Curtis.
Well, yeah, no, prefer not to. But yeah, dude. I mean, look, I genuinely get angry, upset.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep saying it.
Yeah, you'll say it
because
till the end of time.
I truly believe it is ruining the competitive integrity of the game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep saying it to the end of the world, end of the earth.
If you were to rock up to in the office with
That's the
Mark,
first thing I would
Mark
say.
Merrill, and Brendan Beck, first thing you walk in the office, there's not even hi, nice to meet you. Autofill is ruining this game. Walk out.
Yeah, because I urge any of them to do
Autofill
it.
Jungle,
No,
sorry.
I urge any of them to play a game
Yeah.
at that level of play with
Yeah.
autofills existing.
Yeah.
Because you know what? They always say, "Oh, but there's an autofill on the other team." Guys, it's okay.
But they switch the
And they switch anyway. It doesn't matter.
That's right. Yeah, I'm autofill. I just people
Every
switch
time
with
I
me.
get off roll, everyone gives me mid nowadays anyway.
Yeah.
What's the point?
It is. It's true.
What a jerk. What an absolute jerk.
Okay, so our battery's about to die. I got to switch out the battery
And I
anyway
gotta fix
now.
this light because it's nearly by my ankles.
So we'll be back in a jiffy. All right, everyone. Welcome back to Nathan's mailbag. Jingle, let's go. Welcome back for Nathan's mailbag. Jingle song.
Jingle song.
All right, so our first email here is going to be, if I can get it up. So remember, this is awesome. We got like a journey of a specific player, the SummonerSquid. Remember the guy that wrote into us?
He's an old school.
He wrote into us, and I posted on the community because I needed to keep all you guys in check, right? So where was it? Let me just go to our channel right here. And I made a community post on our YouTube channel saying, 29 full-time job, wife, house responsibilities. What is your excuse? And he wrote into us saying he was stuck in Masters here. I mean, Diamond all last season. He's actually been Diamond forever. He's never gotten out of Diamond. He's 6-7 years playing this game. And then just recently he wrote into us, I think it was like a month or so ago. He hit Master Tier. He said he mostly credited his mentality change, confidence, and working on some invisible narratives. He's just written into us
Again.
3 days again saying SummonerSquid makes GM. Saying, Nathan and Curtis, I wrote in a few weeks ago when I made Master Tier after several years of being stuck in Diamond. I'm writing today to let you know that I've made it to Grandmaster on the 26th, March 26th. I'm currently hovering between 250 to 300 LP. My original goal this year was to maintain D1, but now it's to reach Challenger. My next step goal is reaching 350 LP, right? I'll update you again when I reach Challenger. And I just checked his OPGG now. This is even 3 days ago, dude. He's 387 LP now,
Whoa.
dude.
What's Challenger? What's the...
In NA?
Yeah.
It's probably around the same as O. It's probably like 500,
Oh my
550,
God.
dude.
So he's actually close.
He's getting there,
So
dude.
a
Look at his Tigger.
30-year-old...
Yeah. With a wife, house responsibilities.
Think about this. 30-year-old with wife,
Yeah.
house, responsibilities. Diamond for 1, 2, 3,
Season
4,
four.
5, 6, 7 seasons. This defies every narrative.
Yeah.
You get worse over time.
Yeah, you get
You're older. You can't play the game anymore. Real life responsibilities. Once you have a job and shit, you can't handle those things. This literally booms everything.
Dude, SummonerSquid is the hero of the Broken by Concept show. We're going to get a BBC merch,
Dude,
SummonerSquid for president.
Dude, we got to get him on the show at some point.
Yeah, dude, we got to. This is excellent stuff. Can you believe that? I just checked it there again. I thought he said he was hovering in this email 3 days ago between. Look at this climb, dude. It's out of control. It's getting out of control, dude.
So look, even if he were to stop here, it's an insane achievement.
Look, he plays 3 game blocks, 3 games. Oh, that's a 1 game that day, 3 games.
So this is the thing, Nathan, is that, look, if this is possible, what else is possible? People say they're like 22, 23, 24, and they're like too old.
They're lucky to get like platinum, maybe.
This guy's 30, dude.
With a house.
And all his responsibilities. Come on, man.
He says, I also have a question about goal setting. A lot of coaches, not just LOL or sports coaches, recommend setting a long-term goal and the step goals along the way. You talked about this topic a bit in the pod, but was wondering how do you approach goal setting with your clients?
Do you talk about goals that often, honestly?
No, not really. I mean, with Will, it's like go goals to get rank 1. I had this other client, he's platinum. He wants to be challenger, right?
Right.
And I said, well, we got to hit like little goals. Like the goals we talk about. It's like, okay, well, plat 4 to plat 1, and then plat 1 to D4 is like another stretch. So then D4 is the next goal, then D4 to D2, and then D2 to D1 is another whole thing, and then D1 to like 100 LP master is like another one.
Well,
so something like that.
The way I view it is like it's good to have a very long-term goal, like long-term, short-term. You have your long-term is what you really want, but you got to break that down into smaller goals. Yeah. So to be honest, I didn't even think about going from. I mean, I try to even keep it division to division.
Yeah, so like, I mean, think about what I did here this season. Like, it was to hit like GM, and I didn't even think about Challenger. I was like, okay, I just want to make sure I'm gonna get to a GM player. And then it's like, okay, now it's Challenger, and then now it's to like then the next thing is like now it's like, all right, I want to get 700 LP, and then next week like, okay, 900 LP, and then like top 10.
But I don't when I think of a plat 4 player, I don't. Yes, we have diamond as the goal at the end of the day, like the long-term goal. But I don't really. When I talk about it day to day with them, I don't ever refer to it. It's always just like, okay, we're plat 4, let's get to plat 3. Or we're plat 3, let's get to plat 2. I don't really view it past one division.
Yeah, okay. So you think you should only be like,
yes, you have the long term
but you
goal.
have to have the long term goal because you have to be
it.
reaching for the heights,
But I just think that like break it down. I like what he's doing, the 100 LP goals. I think it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's actually very similar to what I do.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
But you obviously overarching goals to get rank 1, right?
Kind of, yeah, I guess.
All right, so our next question here is from James. Hello, Curtis and Nathan. Monke, is that how you pronounce his name?
Yeah.
If it's with there's no Y, it's just E.
Yeah, that's right.
You don't know how to spell monkey, James. What's going on?
He's from the Midland Academy.
I'm the Galileo swaying guy from Curtis's Discord with a big problem.
Here we go.
Obligatory, is that how you pronounce it?
Obligatory sorry for the wall of text.
Feel free to read as much or as little as you like. The sheer amount of text here might make it unsuitable for the podcast. Well, we're reading it now.
Here we go. Strap yourselves in.
Strap yourselves in. But I
help. If this is a big problem, we got to solve it.
Intro. I've emailed you guys my story, mentioned Curtis to Curtis in Discord briefly, but I'll reiterate it here. I started playing League almost exactly a year ago. Right as lockdown began, my friend and I kept in touch online. We were playing online poker over Zoom regularly with some beers, and it was great to catch up with my friends from high school because now it wasn't like I was seeing my local friends anyway. They had played League in high school, but it never clicked with me. They picked it up again, and soon it became an almost nightly ritual in early quarantine. I decided to join them. Man, was that a blast. Over 1,000 games late, 1,000 games in like a year, dude. Holy shit. Nothing about this league has been more fun than those early 5 pre-made versus 5 pre-made draft pick games. So when he started playing the game,
yeah, it's awesome. That would have been so fun.
It's like, yeah, I think that's what I said last podcast. Remember how much fun
we had? Much fun, man.
Like start playing the game and learning everything is just so much fun, right?
Back when we were playing threes, dude, that was the most fun I've ever had.
Because we were so shit at the game. We had fun.
There's no expectation.
Yeah, there's no expectation. Yeah, we hadn't had that kind of video game team cooperation in 6 years. So this is like a group of friends, right? Fast forward 3 months, I'm level 30, I play my first ranked games and instantly something clicks. It's around here I watch Curtis's Galileo guides and start climbing with him fast. Using only Galileo, mid and Swain support, I climbed to gold 3 by September. I eventually finished gold 2 months later. Since then, I haven't improved my rank. Here's my league of graphs as a visual aid. So obviously here, June is in iron and then he rockets up in October. He hits gold, in September, and then, October, he peaks at diamond at gold 1, like about gold 1, gold 2. So here's the problem. I need your help with what happened here. I know it might be easy to say, well, it looks like you had an unusually high base level of play, but you've just hit where you're meant to be is all. But I think something else is going on as well. I have some ideas. So this first idea here, around the time where I plateaued, my game knowledge really increased. I mean, until I hit gold, I never spent the time to even learn the abilities of mid-champs, let alone the rest of the game. I was playing this happy-go-lucky style where I just made instinctual decisions. In hindsight, although my rank didn't change, my perception of the game changed entirely around this time. Suddenly, I'm making macro decisions, in quotation marks, time and abilities, using practice tool to ingrain how to wave clear with my champs, conceptualizing win conditions, analyzing comps, etc., etc. Yet, with this, I became the classical league chat guy. I'm flaming for the first time. Before, I might not understand why someone's played resulted in us getting ace, but now it's obvious. I became toxic and rationalize it as I now have all this game knowledge, so I must be right. I'm basically consuming every single second of Curtis's content. YouTube, Twitch, Discord, BBC, late night text messages. I added that one in. At this point, and not much other league content creators, so every day I'm learning something. Since then, I've gotten much better at keeping my cool, even if I think I'm right. Number 2, it could also be school/work. I'm finishing out my senior year of college, and despite playing a lot, I just so happened to not have climb whatsoever during the school year. I also started working as a remote software engineer internship for 3 days. For 3 days a week. This has put a lot on my plate, but I don't exactly see that prevents me from climbing. In fact, it forced me to become more scheduled. Now, instead of having days in the summer where I play up to sundown, from sun up to sundown, I might just play 8 to 11:30 on a weeknight and more on weekends. Just a thought. Number 3, could be my mental health. A year of writing the bare minimum in online school because it feels so fake, coupled with the world/my country coming apart at the seams, has made me very nihilistic in my day-to-day. Generally, someone having better mental health now compared to pre-pandemic would be an exception, not the rule, but for me, League was supposed to be an escape. I will be disappointed to find that even this has been taken from me. Number 4, it could be something I'm missing. Curtis has been answering my questions/reviewing my OPGG, recently reviewing VODs, and might have a general idea of what's going on already. Our last review, you pointed out my lack of focus during mini lull states impacts my ability to maintain leads, and I think that's directly related to whatever overarching problem has prevented me from climbing. My champ mastery on Galio has skyrocketed and my game knowledge has risen as well, but here I am unable to utilize these skills for climbing. Number 5, it could be my champ pool. Galio Swain is a notoriously micro, non-intensive champ pool that instills a lot of bad habits. I somehow doubt this is the case because while harder, it's not impossible to climb out of gold with a shit pool. Champion mastery, like we talk about all the time. The last and honestly most likely scenario is that it's all of the above. I'm very confident in my ability to reach my goal of climbing through Plat this season, Gold 2 in November 2020 and Plat 1 in November 2021. I just need to identify and work through whatever is holding me back. I resonate a lot with Nathan, that's me, when he was stuck in Diamond, but he knew he could reach Challenger if he fixed what was holding him back. During our next review, Curtis, I'd like to bring another VOD, like the previous, which I thought was pretty characteristic, and we could dive into my mental state throughout the game because that's where the problem hides. Part of the reason MLA was attractive to me was that I thought I could get another set of eyes on the issue, and that's obviously what we do as coaches at the BBC coach thingamajig, whatever we're called. I don't know what we're called. Anyways, I'd like to hear what we think of this. Thanks for the content. So this is some great self-awareness. He's dived deep into this, hasn't he, Curtis? What's your first reaction, Curtis? These are all possible reasons, right? Like, it could be all of the above. Poor mental health because of quarantine, school, work. But again, there's benefits to that because of the schedule. I reckon the first one's a really good point there, is that he suddenly has an expectation put on himself. Because I have this knowledge now. I'm smart about the game, which means I should be high rank. But before he was like, I'm playing the game he would have more fun. You have more fun when you don't have the knowledge in a way, you know? But then you get to a point where, but you actually need to get to this phase anyway. So maybe, is it like a phase? Is it like play for fun, just have a crack, you have no expectations? Second phase, get bombarded with knowledge, become toxic, get into the league culture, because you're actually a League of Legends player. Number 3, understand that holds you back, and you start to be more content with it. You start to be like, okay, now it's just going to be based on my decision making and my level of play, my intensity. Like, what do you reckon, Curtis?
Well, the number one thing for me that jumps out, 2 things actually.
Yeah.
James, I think that I've had this problem before with some of my content. Usually not with gold players, usually with silver players, where they, exactly just what you said, Nathan, they watch a lot of my content,
Bombarded
or even just not my content, just content in general, whether it's LS as well, and a lot of other content creators, and they don't execute enough.
So they're just watching all the time.
They watch a lot.
They don't execute one specific thing? You think that they're trying to execute everything at once?
Well, I think it's okay. They try to execute. They don't try to get specific about one thing and start on one thing. But also, I think it's the lack of confidence as a result of you're still losing in theory, even though you know all this stuff, and you can even see why you're going wrong. That's the most brutal thing. Is like you can even sometimes see, okay, this didn't work, or that person made a mistake, and you're seeing all these really bad players around you because of my content. And then they're just starting to think about stuff that's not important. And they have expectations about their junglers. They have expectations about their teammates. Or especially when you're playing a facilitator type champion like Galio, you're not really a carry. You're just a facilitator. And that would be very frustrating because you're like, I know I'm doing all the right things here, but I'm still losing in a way. So I would say that what's obviously happened here is that there is an element of ego, There's an element of ego and expectation.
That's what it is, ego, right?
That's the start. Now, Nathan, I've got some bad news here. I'm going to be really brutal.
Holy shit. What's the bad news, Curtis?
Sometimes I do believe people can go too far. And it is very hard to get out of this rut.
Oh, you think they go into this whole knowledge, ego thing, and they can't get out?
No, so that's the start. That's step number 1. But what happens, Nathan, they lose so much confidence that they're in a negative. So for example, in order to actually climb or even improve in League, you got to get back to zero confidence. Having 0 confidence is I don't know, you can work with that. But he's in the negatives, dude. That's the way I view it. He's in the negatives. And you go so far over the edge that coming back is a near impossible task. You're just in the shit, dude. You're just so deep in it. You're you've just lost all confidence because we know League is a confidence game. So part of me thinks that he has just lost a lot of confidence as a result of being over-analyzing the game. Now, another thing is that he's playing Galio, and only playing Galio as a mid laner is good in a way where it's champ mastery, but it's not good because he's a very situational pick in gold anyway. Because in gold, the junglers aren't good enough to capitalize on your pressure. The games stagnate, so they don't use your pressure to control objectives. And there's a lot of tanky champions in gold. People play a lot of scaling-oriented tanky champions, and Galio hates versing tanky comps. So what's happening is that you're probably facing a lot of unwinnable games, which is also influencing your lack of confidence. And also, the other thing, because you've played a lot of Galio, it's kind of like playing a lot of Katarina, or a lot of Vlad, or a lot of Kassadin. It is one of those champions that if you were to one trick, you create some seriously bad habits.
Got it. Yeah, you do.
You just do.
Yeah.
It's inevitable.
Is it a view of the game, how to fight, he's just distorted, or? I
think that it's very likely he hasn't been able to internalize the small wins mindset.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to learn the small wins mindset with Galio.
With those chances, because it's just a big win.
It's
just a good old bam, down, kill 4.
Or you get pressure and you get a big thing off of it.
It was either a good ult or a bad ult.
That's right.
Yeah.
So look, the way I view it is that right now, I think we're just overcomplicating things, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Even if this shit is happening, Like, let's just
Bring
put
it
aside
back
for a
to the
second.
basics.
Okay, let's accept reality. All this stuff may well be happening. At the end of the day, if he really wanted to become a more well-rounded player, he should add in either a traditional assassin or a traditional mage. I think that would solve all his problems. Now, this would be good for multiple reasons, Nathan. It's a mental refresh. He gets rid of all expectations. All his champ mastery goes out the window, which is actually kind of a good thing, Nathan, because he's like, there's no expectation about what you do or don't know. It's like, okay, I don't know shit about this champion. I'm just gonna like have fun and go out there and see what I can do, see what knowledge I can utilize. Let's just refresh. Let's just start fresh. I think he's played way too much Galio.
Yeah.
I think he's in a hole. He's in a rut. He's got these toxic expectations. I don't know how he gets out of it playing Galio right now. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, basically it's impossible because again, what's happened here is that he has gotten so good so fast, and now his expectations like, well, why is that slowed down so much?
To be honest, look, he might have gotten good fast, but at the end of the day, it's very similar to what me and you had. I think it's pretty it's above average, but I wouldn't say it's that impressive.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, cool. You get to gold in like one season. Like, that's cool. Like,
there's a lot of players.
There's a lot of people who get to gold in one season. It's good. I'm not going to say it's bad. It's definitely good. It's above average, but it's not like amazing. You know, so maybe he has unrealistic expectations about what he's capable of. That as well. So look, like I said, I don't think it's going to be at least possible for you right now to climb playing Swain and Galio, Swain support and Galio mid out of your rut you're in. You'd be better off going back to square one. Well, not going back to square one, but you still learn a lot about the game. But coming with just a refresh mentality, dude. Play a new champion. It doesn't have to be mechanically intensive. We can talk about this on the Discord. Just DM me. We can have a chat about this. There's plenty of champions out there that can suit you. Don't even worry about this shit. It might be what you might have work stresses. Your schedule might be a little bit shitty.
You got to deal with it, right?
Just this shit happens.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that you're very self-aware, but let's bring it back to specifics and let's refresh. Okay, the fact that a goal player is getting into this level of detail says to me that it's a problem, mate. You know, this is overcomplicating it.
Yeah. He can't unthink all this stuff.
Okay, let me give you a quick analogy here, guys. And look, I'm going to say this, and I feel bad saying it, but I got to just say it.
Curtis, another one. How many more are you got to do this for the podcast? You got one left, all right, Curtis? Go on.
My brother.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus, I hate this story.
My brother doesn't give a shit about the game. He's what you would say, I would say he's a relatively good gamer, pretty good gamer. Casually, he's played League for quite a while, but like he plays he's probably got less than he didn't play for a few years, and he randomly came back this year. And he casually played and got to Diamond 4 in about, he said he got to there in from a brand new account, like a week or whatever it was. Done. D4. Zero understanding of the game. Just all intuitive. Just good. He's just a good gamer.
No, he's a very good natural gamer.
No, but what I'm saying, Nathan, is none of this exists. You can't have, in my opinion, this amount of problems being relevant for a player that's in gold if my brother exists. Something doesn't add up, Nathan. Yes, I understand that some of it is relevant. I totally agree. This is not, you can't discount this stuff. This stuff is worth talking about. But some of it, not all of it, this is just too far over the edge. We're at the way I view this is we're trying to psychoanalyze someone.
But Curtis, there's also players I'd say in Challenge or High Elo that this would be in the same situation as your brother.
I don't think you can do that anymore in Challenger.
I think that there is players. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
That never reviewed a game.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't agree with that. I think they've all reviewed games.
Okay, well, yeah, maybe, but again, maybe not to the extent of your brother, but close. You know, and again, my thing would be is I feel like I have to work harder than the current challenger players.
Yeah, we do. Both of us do.
We do, right?
We both do, yeah.
But that's great because again, talent. I mean, hard work beats talent every day of the week.
Yeah,
right.
But what I'm saying, Nathan, is that don't you agree though that this is too far? Or do you not?
No, I don't. I don't. I think that it's all pretty reasonable stuff, and I think that again, I wouldn't, if I was him, I wouldn't give a shit that your brother would default and even try. Because again, there's so many players like that. He's on his own journey here. Like, he's all good. Like, he's got all these mental barriers to go over.
I can't discount it though, Nathan. I just can't.
Well, yeah, because it's simple, right? It's like, think about it. Swain, Gully, yeah, of course. Like, he's missed so many aspects of the game. He doesn't know how to fight with any other champ. He's probably missing a lot of basic.
Yeah, it's nothing about the mental stuff though.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, he just needs to play the game more and learn other champions.
Yeah. That's what I think. It's just so simple.
And look at the basics.
But I'm worried, Nathan, if we like, if we were to go deep on that, we could have easily just spent.
Oh no, you wouldn't. I wouldn't never do that. No,
you know, it's like I'm worried that we're going too far. I don't want to go too far in that direction. I love the self-awareness and I love this introspection. And I think this stuff would be way relevant later on in Diamond.
Yeah,
this is stuff you'd get to in Diamond.
Yeah, that's why I like the first point, because that's what I think it is. He's overcomplicating the game a bit, lots of content, but yeah, I'd say mostly it's just just relax, take it easy.
New champ, man. I think just new champ.
Start learning.
Refresh.
The game. Yeah. Man, you don't really need that much information, man. Like you know how people like go on the information binge and stuff. Like, what are you looking for?
Because when I made my videos, Nathan, I never intended all of it for it to be consumed by a gold player.
Yeah.
You know that.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the stuff, I never even wanted someone below Diamond to watch.
Mm. It's more like an advanced guide concept.
Like, no, some of it, yes, like the basics, but there was stuff like that I wouldn't even recommend, someone below default to watch. You know? And maybe I should have made that clear.
It's just like champion guides would be the most useful. That's what got him results, right? Yeah.
The Galio guide got him results.
Yeah, it wouldn't be all the other videos, like all the macro.
No, but he's probably watched all of them and overcomplicated.
Yeah, that's a waste of time. Watching Curtis videos are a waste of time.
Well, it's like, do it with specific. Like, you get to a level and you want to learn more, go to the next video.
Yeah, then you need to be looking for specifics.
You need to be looking for specifics of what's going wrong. Do you need to learn more about translating leads or like tempo, whatever it is? You learn more slowly. You don't bombard yourself in one hit. It's too much information. We should actually do an update with him.
Yeah, we need to do an update.
I think that's very important.
You're in your MLA, so it's easy to do.
Yeah, we'll do an update. So, James, hit me up on Discord and we'll figure out your champ pool, right?
All right, next question here is from Subzero.
Subzero wins.
Hey guys, big fan of the show. I wanted to ask about playing games outside of your blocks of 3. Normally I play games on my main in blocks of 3, but sometimes I just want to chill and play outside of that without 100% intensity. For example, sometimes I just want to play Zed or something, but I also don't want to pick up bad habits. Playing my main role without intensity. What are your guys' thoughts on picking up bad habits, playing games casually with friends / outside of your blocks? Should it be limited to off-roll? Would love to hear your thoughts.
Yep.
Good question.
Only off-roll. Never play your main champ.
Yeah. You never play your main role. Learning new champs.
You can play your main role though. Other champs though.
Well, that's what he says he does, right? Just low intensity. You think that's
but not on his main. On a second account.
Yeah, on a second account. Yeah. Yep.
I mean, to be honest, ideally you'd do a secondary role, but I still think another champ that you don't play is fine as well.
Yeah, I think there's no harm. Again, you're basically just trying to get fully focused.
It's like me playing Norms on the weekend, man.
Yeah, you're playing Yumi and
playing
shit.
normal games with my girlfriend. I was playing Rel and Yumi, chilling.
All right, last question here, since this has been a bit of a long episode. Playing a lane to improve at jungling. Howdy, Curtis and Nathan. How do you say it in an American accent? Howdy. I don't know how to do that.
Shit.
I was wondering what your thoughts are about playing either top or mid to improve at the jungle role. I've heard both LS and Coach Verku, a popular NA jungle coach, say that junglers should play either top or mid lane to better learn the game and become better at jungling. Alice actually recommends getting to Diamond only playing top before starting to play jungle, because you learn micro skills a lot faster playing in a lane rather than jungle. Do you agree with not playing jungle below a certain rank, or playing a mix between jungle and a lane to climb and better learn the game? And if so, should I have a jungle account and a separate top lane account, or use the same account and play both roles equally? Love the podcast. Thanks always for sharing your advice with us.
Dude, that's actually so smart. I actually agree.
I agree as well.
I actually agree with that.
I mean, so it's for me. Like I've done it the wrong. Like I'm only in jungle.
Yeah.
I literally am like gold in laners in
Yeah.
lane. Like you don't want me to see me in lane, but I think that learning lane in League of Legends, like that's the game.
It
The
is.
laning is League of Legends,
Yeah.
right? I mean, maybe that's like hindered
Because
my
everything else
my
makes
thing.
sense.
Yeah.
Jungle makes sense because if you don't play lane,
Yeah.
your decisions don't have context.
You need to understand. I would say one of the biggest reasons that I'm like 600 LP challenge right now is I play more to what my laners want. I understand what's going on in the lanes way more than last season. That's actually a huge part of why I've climbed as
That's
well.
why I think Pabu in our region got like
He's one of the best junglers.
one of the best junglers
because,
randomly.
yeah, just picked up jungle super
because
easily.
he played from top to jungle.
Ambition, mid laner to jungle, world champion.
There's a lot of examples, but I think that dude, that's actually really smart. I totally agree with LS for that one. Actually, I think if everyone who wanted to play jungle get to play top or mid to D4, you would be a much better jungle or improve way faster.
You would improve faster, right? I think you can do the only jungle route like me, but it's just going to be a lot harder. And you probably hit a lot of massive barriers.
I don't think you can go the other way around.
What do
I
you mean?
genuinely don't believe you can go from jungle to a lane.
Yeah, I think you're right. Honestly, yeah,
You're stuck.
You're fucked.
You're fucked.
Because again, your expectation is you're in a high, and it's would be brutally hard.
Fucked. Yeah, you're stuck there forever.
Yeah, I'd say my narrative right now is like I would never be a challenger mid laner, but you could be a challenger jungler.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You've done it.
Yeah, I've done it. I could easily do it.
So that'll be interesting. I think it's possible. I would have to break down a shit ton of mental barriers and invisible maneuvers. I'll be like in the fetal position by the time I'm finished. I'll be crying in the fetal position by the time
I do think it's possible if you play specific champions. You had an identity. If you played like Rumble mid, Galio mid, all these like pure prio champs.
Yeah.
I think you could do it, but you wouldn't do it playing assassins or control mages. No way in a million years.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think junglers they're never going to go the other way around. So yeah, I totally agree with LS. I think it's really smart. Something we should probably talk about more, man.
Yeah. Well, Curtis, there's a lot of junglers that I know that, sit there and jungle and obviously, do it the hard way like me. But, again, I think best case scenario is that. But again, I'd say it's not the be-all. It's not like you have to do that.
You don't have to. It's just it would just be faster.
Your life would be easier.
Your life would be much easier. Yeah.
Because you got to understand roles. But I guess you can, I mean, again, I understand. I've never played lanes. I've never played any of these matchups. So I understand how these matchups go. Maybe not
Nathan,
specifically, but I learned all that. It's because
VODs
I've watched
again.
so many VODs.
How much time have you spent on the game?
Okay, but it's possible, right?
Yeah, it's possible, but it's just not realistic. But I think that as well, the micro aspect is the big one.
Yeah, the micro thing.
Proving micro as a jungle is very difficult.
Because you miss so many situations. You're fighting.
It's like Shern. Even Shern sucks ass micro-wise.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like they really do struggle.
Yeah. Us junglers, we do it rough, yeah.
You know what I've noticed, actually, super interesting. I've noticed 80 carry off-roll can actually... 80 carries, when they play mid, they're actually surprisingly good at mid.
Really?
Yeah, their tethering is like out as well.
Because an ADC
all they know how to do is, like, tether.
doing mechanics the most out of any other role most of the time.
And it's night and day.
Yeah.
I actually feel like a lot of 80 carries, and that's what they do. Even Calvin and Quinn used to play mid lane.
Yeah,
they're actually pretty good at mid.
Yeah.
It actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense to me. But yeah, that's interesting. So we probably need to explore.
Well, I'm yawning, so that means I'm finished.
Dude, how long has this podcast been going for?
It's going for a long time, Curtis.
All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see ya on our next episode next week. This time, catch you later.
Bye-bye.